Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which I strongly advise you all join. Now, we're currently joined by Chocolate Saiyan, 10th Man and Sleeping Warrior, who I will raise the mic on while I set up for the first live show.
Into like debates with long extending conversations, they come out of it thinking, okay, I don't outright believe what he's saying, but because I've known him so long and he speaks with some type of, intelligence and common sense, some of the things he's saying kind of make sense. So, so that's cool. I don't mind being the weird one. Well, but then I switch it on and I'm like, well, if I'm weird, but I'm the one who thinks I live on a flat, not moving plane, but you think you're sticking sideways to a spinning water ball, and I'm weird. And they just look at me like, that's not what it is. And I'm like, well, you live on a ball, right? That's what it is, if that's what it is. There's no way around it.
You're only weird in the relationship to the numbers that believe it's a ball. You're not weird with your content.
Exactly.
Hey, Nathan, are you on?
Hello, I'm just doing a few things, that's why I stayed on mute.
Oh, that's all right. Anthony was looking to talk to you about something.
Yeah, I just wondered, when you bought your M.2 drive, you bought a terabyte M.2 drive at 300 quid.
It might have been 500, I can't honestly remember.
I was going to say that was incredibly cheap for how long you've had it. You've not bought this recently.
I did, when I wrote it, I thought, was it 500? I just don't want to seem like I'm bragging when it could be 300, but I was pretty sure it was actually over £500 when I bought that drive. But it is 5 years ago now, or 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've just come out. Yeah, I saw your advert for M.2 1 terabyte drive under 100 quid, and I looked at it, I was like, what? But the same thing applies to everything else in the PC. So I bought a graphics card and it was about 600 quid. Now you can buy them second hand for about 150.
Yeah, it's incredible how cheap the SSD technology's become now. It's like, wow, that's really coming cheap, affordable.
Yeah, as it should be. I mean, that's a proper advancement in technology, right?
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to go back on mute. I've still got a few things to do. We're going to be late if I keep jibber-jabbing.
Go.
Yeah, Anthony, you remember well, you probably don't, but at the watches went from the normal old-style watches to the digital watches?
Yes.
When that first happened, I was young and much younger, and Casio had a lot of, a good Japanese brand at the time. And I remember this guy, he says, look at my digital watch, it's the newest thing. And I looked at it and I go, how much did you get that for? He goes, $500.
Crazy,
$500. That same watch at a department store or a CVC drugstore here is like $16, $12, $9.
What was it? Just digital, or was it like the cool digital with the calculator Casio? Remember those? When it first came out, everybody had the calculator on their watch.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Now you can get it for $5.
$5.
That's ridiculous.
When I was a kid in school, I was into gadgets, and I had a a radio watch and a TV watch, an actual TV screen and a radio, just a little one, and it was the coolest thing. I felt like James Bond or something.
Yeah. I remember when I used to watch Knight Rider and he could speak into his digital watch, and I was like, wow.
Right? How awesome was that? And call your car with your watch. So awesome.
Kids around here.
Now, unfortunately, they're watching.
2 minutes to go.
Anything new from our pal, Fight the Flat Earth or George Musser?
I never watch his channel anyway. I wouldn't know.
I mean, as a rebuttal to you, have they stopped?
Have a little look on his channel and see what his last video was.
Good morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you guys doing?
Hey, Paul.
Hello.
What's up, Paul?
What's up?
2 minutes and we'll go live.
Make it 1 minute and you got a deal.
Make it 1 minute and what?
Got a deal. You're going to be late at 2.
Ah, okay. 1 minute.
Woo.
Well, that was a very interesting 60 seconds.
No parts that are starting a conversation up if you're due to start.
Well, I'll just start now then, if that's going to literally kill the conversation completely.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by 10th Man, Sleeping Warrior, Chocolate Saiyan, Paul, and a whole bunch of people on Discord. Very good to have you all.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone in Discord. Hello, everyone on the panel. Any signs of Earth curvature?
Nil point.
No, not at all.
Nope.
Any
Nah.
any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
No.
Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Nope.
Nope. All assumptions.
News meltdown. If you're not going to talk, we don't really need to listen to you tapping on your keyboard, my friend. Did we go through gravity? Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Nope.
Scientific evidence of what?
Gravity.
What's that?
Second time I'm going to ask you. News meltdown. Thank you.
No. The non-force force.
Any
Or in
evidence?
other words, not a force?
No, not a force. According to the current bullshit rhetoric.
There
Bending the
is
concept.
evidence of acceleration towards center of mass.
Say again, sorry?
There is evidence towards acceleration towards the center of mass.
Right, what does that mean? Talk us through it.
When there are two things with mass, it is possible for them to accelerate towards each other at a constant.
I can't even hear you.
You're really low. He says when there are two objects of mass, there is a constant force between them. But turn your mic up, RcMeisty.
Yes, sir. I didn't say that there's a constant force between. I said that there can be measured a constant acceleration between centers of mass.
Constant acceleration.
Too
yes.
quiet. Can anyone else hear what he's saying? Just muttering into his really quiet mic, like we can have a conversation this way.
He's saying there's a constant acceleration.
Yeah, you don't need to repeat it, Spurs. That means I need to address a technical issue, not have a narrator from you. Can you sort out your mic so we can actually hear you properly?
Sorry, gentlemen. I'm going to try to do that.
Try rejoining because you're breaking up.
Let's move on. Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Yes.
No.
I heard yes.
That was Arwen.
Yeah, and then I said no.
Oh, okay. How disappointing.
See what I mean about Arwen backsliding, Nathan? He's becoming the contrarian again.
That wasn't backsliding, that was a joke.
No. Yeah, it was. But I presuppose a molten chocolate core
Molten chocolate?
for that. Yeah.
Yay.
Any evidence of the R value?
No.
No, not on Earth.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
Nope.
Oh, there is an R value, but there's no radius of the Earth.
Right, they just presuppose it's spherical. Last but by no means least, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
Nope.
No.
That's a trick question.
Go on, Spurs.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
not
Yeah,
that- not
well, that
today.
concludes the housekeeping
Not
then.
today, no.
Unless I'm going to get a moan from Arwen about it being a trick question.
What?
He said that's a trick question.
Yeah, but it is, isn't
I
it?
will,
Hello?
one thing I will say, and I could be wrong about this, is that one of the arguments that are on the table, and I'm just, not that it like changes anything, I'm just pointing it out, that that there's a lot of experiments being done with the electromagnetic forces attracting or creating a gas pressure force, basically like creating force around the gases, but the gases are ionized. But like they're saying that that's proof that you can have it without a container. But the problem is that like the gases are ionized. Like you have to manipulate the gases a certain way in order to get that effect. So like I'm just like but our atmosphere would be exempt from that. I just wanted to point that out.
Well, I think that's actually plasma, not gases. But I heard it. Yeah.
I also want to point out that there is a gas pressure gradient that we can measure here on Earth.
And
Go back to the acceleration one point.
Hold on.
He's back now, Nathan.
Yeah, sure. And I'd like to point out that we have chickens. So what's your point?
So the gas pressure gradient can go from what we experience as atmospheric pressure at sea level up to 0 eventually.
No, it can't.
Yeah.
That violates a law of nature. It can't dissipate to 0. If it was 0, no pressure, then the gas that was at higher pressure would want to disperse into that. So no, it doesn't dissipate to 0. Now you're talking over me. It's a globe head affliction. I'm talking, therefore you need to be talking while I take apart your fundy assertion. No, mate. You can't have gas pressure not pressing on anything. If you're to claim that the outer void of your fundy religious belief in a sky vacuum is actually real, then you need to demonstrate that you can have gas up against a vacuum. You can't. It doesn't dissipate to nothing. That violates both Boyle's law and the second law of thermodynamics. So no, it does not do that. That's just your fundy belief.
Because you're an expert, you know.
The second law of thermodynamics does not state that you can.
I can't hear you. Look, you're really becoming irritating. If you can't be heard, like, clearly, and you're just muttering into some shit microphone, I'm not going to have this conversation with you. You've asserted gas pressure gradient. Which comes first? Gas pressure, i.e. it pressing on something, or a gas pressure gradient? Yeah? Absolutely. The gas pressure, i.e. it needs to press on something, will come first. The necessary antecedent being a container to press upon. PSI, per inch. Yeah? You don't have a per inch of a vacuum. So get your crappy mic sorted.
School these fools, Nathan.
Yeah, I will school these fools, Dawn. You're one of them.
So the second law of thermodynamics does not state that you cannot have a gas pressure next to a vacuum.
Just a muttering, stuttering crap mic. What part of that don't you get? We're not going to have a decent conversation when I can only hear every 5th word you say.
Well, I can translate. I managed to make that out.
I don't need a translator.
Sorry?
I don't want it translated. I don't want to hear this bonehead telling me that we can have gas pressure gradients dissipating to 0. No, we can't. Yeah? I'm not interested. If I'm going to have a conversation with you, number 1, I don't want him to talk over me while I'm mid-sentence, which he's just done. And number 2, I actually want to be able to hear what he says, which I can't. I've said it 4 times to him. But he thinks that means just carry on regardless, like it doesn't matter that he's got absolute shite equipment that we can't hear him on.
What's your evidence that the second law of thermodynamics...
Oi! We can't hear your crap microphone. Did I just say... Does that mean carry on regardless? Oh, just ignore the fact that I can't hear you properly and the audience can't hear you properly and you've got the most shit equipment possible. Just ignore that fact and carry on regardless, eh? Yeah, so you are going to just carry on regardless. You have got a crap mic. We can't hear you properly. I'm not going to boost your mic so everybody else is deafening just to level up your shit mic. Sort it out.
Maybe Don would like to pick up where that guy left off.
Yeah, come on, Dawn. How do you have gas pressure without a container?
Gravity, obviously.
Who's typing? Arwin, stick yourself on mute, bud.
I think it was Arwin.
It's a very special scenario on Earth. It's a very special scenario. It's not the same as a laboratory test.
Special about it?
Laboratory
it's
test. What are you talking
special.
about? Nobody mentioned any laboratory tests.
As we all know.
Dawn.
As we all know.
What are you referring to?
Hello.
I will say you are
said that
special,
it's a
Don.
very special.
Yeah, Earth is a very special situation compared to other pressure systems that we see on Earth.
What the bloody hell are you
Really?
on about? Earth is very special compared to
Aren't those
other
other
pressurized
pressure
systems we see on Earth. That's the biggest load of nonsense I've ever heard you spout.
Have you ever witnessed
Yeah,
another
because on
pressure
Earth,
system?
we observe gas pressure. Like you're saying that on Earth it's different, but on Earth, every single example of gas pressure is within a container.
Yeah,
So what are you talking about?
That's my point, yeah.
No, your point was that on Earth it's different, and it's not.
Yeah, Earth in general is a special situation compared to all the experiments we do
No.
on Earth in a lab.
No, it's not, Don.
Well, it seems to be, because we keep going in the sky and we've never hit a container as yet.
You haven't. What do you mean, we?
Oh my God.
When did you do this? We? You part of that, are you, Dawn? Did you
Yeah,
go
we
to space?
humans, you know
Hey,
what I
I'm
mean.
talking globehead mute button time, right? I didn't finish my sentence, didn't finish my question, but it's time for Dawn to respond mid-sentence, isn't it? Yeah? Gonna play out like this the entire show. This is why I get pissed off. Yeah?
Don't
You
pretend
said,
you know-
it doesn't mean when I pause to start my sentence you interrupted again that you start up again, Dawn. Right? This is going to be a one-chance deal. If I get interrupted by you again, you're just going to piss off. Right. You said we. That includes you. So did you go to space?
To space? No, I haven't been to space.
Why are you saying we then? Who's this we? Not
As I said,
you.
20 seconds ago, humans. You know what I mean.
No.
Hello.
Dawn, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Okay, if I told you that I went to, Nathan uses the Narnia example. I'm trying to come up with some type of fantasy type universe. I guess we could use the Alice in Wonderland place. If I told you that
Yeah.
I had been there,
Yeah.
would you believe me? Knowing that place can't possibly exist logically and scientifically.
Depends what details
would
you
believe
told
me?
me about Wonderland, I guess.
I can be very detailed. That isn't what I'm saying.
If
Like
you literally
know,
told me the story that Alice went through, then no, I probably wouldn't believe you.
what difference does it make? I would have had to go through the same process.
And I can give you
if
some maths
said,
of how to get
I
there
went
as well,
to this
Dawn.
strange world and I saw a few things. I might believe you that you had a dream or an experience or something. But
No, not a dream. Me actually going there. Me saying, "Hey, I just went to the."
no, I wouldn't believe you. No.
So you wouldn't believe me, right?
No.
So why would you believe that people claim that they have gone to a region that can't possibly exist? Why would
Well,
you think that?
I don't agree. It can't possibly exist. I've seen lots of evidence of them going to it.
No, you haven't.
Right.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You've just told us. Special pleading. The Earth I believe in is different. It's exceptional. It doesn't apply to the rules. No evidence. Just your fundamentalist religious
That's not
assertion
quite what
about
I
what
said.
Earth does and how. Was that Dawn talking over me? Just your fundamentalist religious assertion about what Earth does and how it is exceptional, doesn't meet the rules and standards of natural laws. Not that you've examined it, not that you've been to the region we're saying doesn't exist. You're saying we've been. No, you haven't. I said this earlier. You haven't done anything. You're just taking the word of priests who say they've been to Narnia.
That's not
Yeah,
quite.
I have a
quite
question
what I
for
said.
Dawn.
I'm talking
I have a
about
question.
just going up and observing
Dawn?
no container. That's all I was talking about.
Don, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Right. So if somebody among us would tell you, like, yeah, we've been to outer space or something, and you said you wouldn't believe it. So why would you then, if an astronaut told you the same thing, do believe it? Why would you?
Right, just a quick shout out to the raw caveat. There was no gradient when the atmosphere was supposedly first forming. Therefore, the gas directly next to the vacuum of space. Not possible. Yeah.
That's an interesting point. I like that.
Yeah, it is. But I still want to answer to my question. Why would you believe astronauts and not
as well.
just
I don't
somebody
trust
else?
astronauts by default. I mean, I don't trust them by default. I need pictures. I just trust the consensus that some people have been up in the sky really far.
Yeah, but they're the ones claiming that they've taken the pictures
Said
using
it.
their
He just
equipment.
trusts it, Arwin. He just trusts them. Trusts the wizards. Trusts the priests. That's all this is based on. His trust, not evidence. Trust.
Watching One Strange Rock presented by Will Smith on Netflix, and it's got the
Yeah, but
astronaut.
why would you believe a NASA employee or a NASA website showing you a supposed picture
Yeah,
from
that's not what he
space
said.
when somebody could like have a great video studio and make great CGI showing you, and then tell you, "Oh man, look, I just made this satellite that took these pictures." Would you believe them if they
Said
looked
he
really
trusts
good?
Will Smith.
It's generally because I just believe it's possible to go up high in the sky, and I think humans are possible at doing amazing things. So
Yeah, but you
there's
base that
been no
belief on
evidence
these
of a route.
pictures.
There's been no evidence of we can't go there. There has been evidence of we are going there.
No,
Based on the
I seem
pictures.
to believe
Hold on.
most of it.
Dawn, you've just said no evidence that we can't go there. The place isn't real. It defies 2 laws that I've detailed on
In
this
your
show.
opinion, yeah.
Oh, of course, that's Dawn's
not an
opportunity
opinion.
to talk. It violates natural laws. Your get around being, oh, Earth is exceptional. It doesn't apply. The rules don't apply to my fundy belief in what Earth is and what it does. What's that based on? Not evidence. Your belief. Your trust. That's what you've just told us.
Yeah, like you put a lot of emphasis on saying that I don't believe that that is true. It doesn't matter if you don't believe that it is true. It is true. It's a fact. You can't just defy a law of nature just because you think that we can go or that you believe that we can go.
Well, I just disagree. That's your opinion.
It's not an opinion. Like
It's
if
an opinion. Most of
How
the
is it
world
that-
disagrees with it. They have a different
Well,
opinion.
because most of the world has a belief in space. Of course,
Well,
they
you
want
have
to
a
believe
belief
that
in no space, don't you?
no,
It's
it's
not
not
about-
a belief. Space can't
It's
exist.
not about-
That's what they say.
Don, it's not about belief in or no belief in. It's about evidence that belief in or no belief in
Yeah,
exists. We don't
That's what they
believe
say.
in
That's
space.
what they say.
Hello. I was talking. When we see evidence is falsified, we don't believe in it anymore. When we see evidence that's true, then we might believe in it. So give us your pictures that you believe are true. What pictures are you referring to that exist that can't exist because there is no space?
I wasn't actually even talking about space. I was talking about I believe humans go up and have never found a container. That's all I said. I didn't mention
And what do you
space once.
base that on? What do you base that on?
That's
You did
unusually
mention space, that's a
slithery of
lie.
you.
No, I
remember
didn't. Nathan jumped on the space thing straight away after I talked about going up and not finding a container.
Okay, so you admit that there is a container then?
No,
Just
I'm
because
saying we've
we
never
can't
found
get
one.
there
So
yet
why do you
doesn't
believe
mean
in
that
one?
So you were saying we go up and we haven't seen a container. What evidence do you have for that?
Because CNN didn't tell them, didn't tell him that we found one.
Don't gang up on him if he's been asked a question. While that's
just
happening,
said
I will just
rockets.
take the opportunity to shout people out there. So shout out to Jennifer Winterburn, who says, good work, Nathan. Thank you very much indeed, Jennifer, for the super chat. And James Mays, who says, right, while I'm trying out super chats, I must remember to mute that Skype line. Also, shout out to James Mays, who says, share the show, smash the super chat. Thank you very much indeed for your support, James Mays. Really appreciate it. And Jennifer also. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah. So, talking about this, I have a project, the Dawn Balloon.
Tell us about it.
It's just, I'm going to conceptualize it and then Flat Earth can pay for it and control it and design it. So, no global hands. But it's going to look for the container. It's going to measure the gradient as far as we can. And then if we don't go high enough and we want to measure more of the gradient down to nothing, we can build Dawn Balloon 2. Once it's up there,
Just
it's
inserted his presupposition.
P1100.
Dawn,
P1100
Dawn, don't start an example with a Dawn, stop talking. You just inserted a presupposition.
Me, man.
You just inserted a presupposition. You said down to 0, didn't you, Dawn? So you're going to insert your fundy belief and your presupposition in this begging the question example. Then when I interrupt and point out that he's begged the question and assumed it drops to 0, he'll talk all over me. Yeah, Dawn, I'm stopping you because you've inserted a presupposition that it drops to 0. Yeah, you've not done a damn thing, but you already know it's going to drop to 0, don't you, Dawn?
Relative density already points out that it's impossible for balloons to get to the most upper part of the container.
I adjust my concept
impossible.
for your length. I won't say down to 0. I'll say we'll measure the gradient down as far as we can go. This is one of the aims of the Dawn Balloon. Anyway, as we're doing that, we're going to pan down the P1100 to Antarctica and check what shape it is, see if it's a continent or not. This is another mission of the Dawn Balloon.
Really? You're going to go to Antarctica and launch a balloon there? You think you can do that?
No, I'm not going to do it. It's my concept. Flat Earth's going to do it. Pay for it.
Whatever. Shout out to, is it Chaz pounder. Dawn, explain gas nebula in vacuum attracting mass.
Why would I want to do that?
Because you believe in a sky vacuum, a violation of several laws of nature, based on what priests tell you and what you believe and trust, and then obfuscate when you get the answer. So based on your belief and your trust...
Believing it doesn't mean I want to explain it something to you that I don't fully understand.
Well, then don't try. Don't try and explain things to other people that you don't understand yourself. That is quite literally insanity. You're going to tell me that you're going to try to explain something you don't even understand yourself.
No, I'm telling you, I'm not going to try and explain that to you. No, I'm not.
There is no explanation. It's a violation of laws of nature. I've just explained that. The fact that you don't have a
I'm not trying
rebuttal...
to explain it to you.
Shut up while I talk! The fact that you don't have a rebuttal to it doesn't mean you can't explain it. It means it's a violation of several laws of nature. There is no rebuttal. It doesn't just mean you can't explain it. That you have trust in others who will eventually explain this violation of several... Shut up, Dawn. When I'm talking, I don't expect you to start talking with your global fundy mute button. Just because you don't have a...
mute button?
Yeah, there it is again. That's your mute button. While I start a sentence, you start talking over the top of me because what I say is very damaging. So fundy globeheads like yourself must mute what I say by talking over me and then later accusing me of muting them. So Dawn, please don't interrupt the devastating rebuttal to your claim that just simply you can't explain it when in reality it's a violation of several laws of nature, and there will be no rebuttal to that. It's just your fundy belief based on trust and based on belief in what priests have told you.
So, I'll consider you a maybe on the Dawn balloon then.
No, I stopped you halfway through the example because you presupposed that the gas pressure would drop to zero. The very fundamental thing, your presupposition, your fundy belief, the bit you're trying to prove is presupposed in your bloody example, you bonehead.
I adjusted it for you. We'll measure it as far down as we can go.
And what will that prove? That we have a gradient? We already know that. So you're proving nothing, Dawn. You're an imbecile.
Well...
Okay, well, we'll just aim for the container then. We'll prove that maybe we'll get to a vacuum, dude, and debunk your shit.
So what, you're going to insert your presupposition again? I know it needs to
maybe.
press.
I said maybe, don't I?
Dawn, I know it needs to press. The measurement for it is PSI. Per inch.
Yeah, well...
That's not...
We're going to aim for
Dawn,
that.
that's not your opportunity to destroy the rebuttal again. Simply because you can't explain and have no rebuttal doesn't mean you need to interject when I do. That's what you're doing now. You're interjecting someone who is self-confessed, not understanding the example. But when I rebut your total failure, you feel that's your moment to speak. No, Dawn. It's already been proven. It's demonstratable by the measurement itself, PSI. It needs a per inch value to press on. So I don't need to exercise some demonstration in your fundamentalist belief that the Earth is exceptional and can violate that law. I don't need to do that. You, on the other hand, with a fundamentalist religious belief in a sky vacuum, absolutely need to demonstrate that that law can be violated in any way, shape or form. Your opening gambit being that I know it can't be violated, but Earth is special. No, Earth isn't special. Your fundy belief is just wrong.
Yeah, the Earth is not special, you are.
Alternative. Not accepted by the mainstream.
It is. It's a law of nature. It's absolutely accepted that you need to press on something to have gas pressure. That's not something that would just weave flat. Oh, it's global mute button at time, isn't it? Dawn's made a statement. I'm rebutting it. So it's time for Dawn to continue talking over the top of me. Because what I say is devastating to your fundy belief, isn't it, Dawn? So it's time to talk all over me. It's the globe mute button. Yeah, Dawn, I was in the middle of explaining that it is absolutely accepted by mainstream. This is a law of nature. The measurement itself demonstrates that you need something to press upon, a per inch value. Now, you're not going to demonstrate ever that a vacuum can be pressed upon and retain gas pressure. That's a fundy belief in something that violates the law of nature. Again, I'm just coming to my conclusion. Of course, it's Dawn's turn to speak over the conclusion. So no, Dawn, you're wrong. Mainstream understands that to have gas pressure, you need a container to press on. Your fundy belief violates that. That's all it is, a fundy belief.
Well, you've got a fundy belief against a fundy belief then, which makes you worse.
That's retarded. Imbecile.
Hey,
Not really.
Hey, Don, you got mainstream science saying you need a container. You got mainstream news saying no, you don't.
Not for the
Why do you
atmosphere,
even
they
trust
don't.
Man, you know what,
Mainstream
Nathan?
don't,
This
science
guy
don't
cuts.
say that about the
This
It's the
guy
globe head mute button. He won't let you make your point, 10th man. Because, like me, what you say is devastating. So he needs to obfuscate it and talk, even though he's already confessed he knows basically nothing. But he's going to talk when the people who do start talking know what they're talking about. Oh, that means Dawn can interrupt and talk over the top of it so the point's never heard. So his fundy belief made... He can just hang on by the thread of his belief while he talks over the devastating bit that undoes it. Shut up, Dawn, he's talking.
I wonder if he has a mute button for himself or he's just not polite. I don't know. But your mainstream analogy goes against itself because mainstream science says you need a container, and your mainstream news, probably no relationship to mainstream science, says you don't. So how can you quote someone mainstream, whatever mainstream you listen to, holding two opposing systems?
Yeah, I apologise for interrupting so often. It's because you guys lie and are wrong so often. But yeah, mainstream science doesn't say we need a container for the atmosphere. It doesn't.
You know, your last statement is very interesting. You guys lie, and so often. What is a lie that we've said?
Hold on, it's just made another claim, 10th man. He said mainstream science doesn't say you need a container. He's just basically ignored every word I've said. So, Dawn, acknowledge what I say, then tell me that they don't say this.
I said your beliefs about the law are
not
wrong
a belief
for most people.
It is not a belief. Stop projecting your fundy nature onto me.
No, I won't. That's the language I'm using. Your
Well, it's not a
belief in
belief.
the law is wrong. It's
Right, I
different to
don't
most
have a
people's
belief.
in the law.
I don't have a belief in
different
it.
to when you
Of
Google
course,
the law.
I'm never going to get to give him a fucking rebuttal because he'll just keep incessantly saying the same thing. Shut up! I do not have a belief. It is a law of nature, never to be violated. If it was ever to be violated, it would no longer be a law of nature. That's not a belief I hold. You, on the other hand, hold a belief that something does violate that. Something that you have never experienced, tasted, touched, gone to. The vacuum of the sky. You say, we have. No, you haven't. You only have a fundy belief in something that violates a law of nature. I don't believe in laws of nature. They're just laws. Holding true always. Simple. Not a belief, Dawn.
You need to research entropy properly.
Yeah, you've had your chance, Don. I mean, when you see the evidence, now you can believe the evidence. You're saying, I don't believe with evidence. I'm just going to believe there's open space and air could stay in. You have no evidence for your beliefs.
No, you're wrong, 10th man. He doesn't care about any of that. He just wants to see it on the news. When the
you're right.
when the tele tells him that it's not a ball, that's when he'll begin to believe it. He's stated that clearly a few times already.
Mainstream.
I don't have a TV.
So
Well, what's the difference?
when your friends see it on TV and then they tell you, "Oh, look what I saw on television," that's when you'll believe it, Don? Come on, bro. Now you're just sounding crazy.
I don't have a TV.
Right?
That's fine.
Doesn't matter. You're still waiting for mainstream, right? Doesn't matter if you have a TV, if you hear it on the radio, like War of the Worlds. Does not matter, right?
I'd still need the evidence to be on the TV. Yeah.
Dawn, you've been shown the evidence and you don't accept it. You clearly state that you just believe it. Who are you trying to fool right now? We're all listening to you. Do you not understand that?
I've never seen any conclusive flat earth evidence.
Okay.
What?
Rolls by on screen every single show.
No, none of it's conclusive.
To explain entropy to us.
Good point.
I've
Go on
got
then,
no
Dawn.
idea about
Explain.
entropy,
You've said
so
I
I just
don't
know
understand it.
Nathan's
Go ahead.
wrong about it.
Go ahead and explain entropy.
Okay, Don.
I don't know anything about entropy.
So
then how do you know
how
that
can
he
you
doesn't
say
know?
that you? How
Because I've studied Nathan for 2.5 years, and he's a liar in almost 95%
hold
of
on.
what he says.
Pause. I'm sorry. You just said You have no idea what the hell entropy is, yet you know Nathan is wrong about it.
I know what it
That
is, but I don't know anything about it enough to explain it.
That's no.
Yes.
That's not how it works. You can't just say, well, like, if you have no idea what it is, how can you accuse somebody of being incorrect about it?
Because I know Nathan quite well.
No, that's not. No, that's
Yes,
your biased
that is
opinion
true.
of
No,
him.
me. Yep. True.
You
That's
don't.
an ad hom.
You can't use a.
I'm the observer.
No, that's an ad
Behavior
hom.
observer.
Yeah, pure ad hominem.
Yep.
Yeah. That's you're literally just attacking him and not his argument.
Everyone agrees.
You're saying, well, I know him.
Not just
so
ad
that's
hominem.
completely,
Also,
like, I would-
ad hominem appealed coupled with
wrong about
an
Earth
ad
needing a
hominem
container.
appealed
This is a
to
lie.
consensus.
He knows it doesn't.
And now he won't shut
And
up.
you don't even know what entropy
Dawn,
is.
all you've
Right.
done
You're gonna
is
listen
ad
to
hom
me.
me and then appealed to consensus. So everybody knows it.
That's another fallacy.
Yeah, 2 fallacies, 1 breath.
You're gonna agree with with everything that the ballers say, but because you don't like Nathan, you think that everything he says is a lie.
I don't
Basically,
agree with
that's what
everything the ballers say at all.
Okay.
Well, let's get back on topic.
Accusing
Set
Nathan
the-
of
let's
lying
get
about
back on
Earth
topic.
needing a container. That's all I'm
Back
doing.
on topic.
But you don't even.
Oh my God.
You don't know anything about entropy, nor have you studied the second law of thermodynamics or
No.
any. Yeah, you can't do that. You can't just say that he's wrong and you haven't studied it.
Yeah, I'm saying he's wrong.
You have to study it in order to
No,
say
I just
that.
know he's wrong.
Okay, Don.
I've witnessed his behavior enough, and I've heard enough other things
Ad
about
hom.
those things.
Yeah, more
That's
ad hom.
that's. Oh my God, I can't.
What does his behavior have to do with his arguments?
Just
Nothing.
he's wrong.
Nothing. Doesn't
Yeah,
have
that's
anything
a
to do with
good
my
argument.
arguments.
He's definitely wrong
He's
about
not
Earth
addressed a
needing
word
a
I've said.
container, but for
So
definite.
he's not addressed
Yeah,
anything I've
sure.
said
Okay.
at all. So all he's
With
done.
no evidence to support your assertion towards him.
Hey,
you're just gonna say
Jessica,
he's wrong
can you
because he's
hear
wrong.
somebody
But then we've
talking
never found
in
a
your
container, have we?
headphones?
And he's still
Hold on,
asserting it.
Don. Jessica, do you hear Nathan talking?
I'm sorry?
Jessica. Jessica,
Yes.
do you hear Nathan talking in your headphones while you're talking?
I didn't hear him because I was going back and forth with Don. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you need to get a better headset because he's talking, then you're stepping all over him. And then we got Dawn coming in. It's a shit show, in other words.
So
I
Dawn,
only interrupt
I'd
him
like
when
you
he
to
lies,
actually rebut something I've said. You've said everything I've said about entropy is wrong. Okay? So I've described needing a per inch value, PSI. So firstly, what's PSI? Do you know what that means, Dawn?
I just know you're wrong, dude.
That's not an answer. Do you know what PSI stands for? I think you're wrong. That's a question, Dawn. There's no incorrect or correct. It's whether or not you know the answer.
I'm not here to be quizzed by you, dude.
Well, then what are you here for? Just to express your
I'm
fundie
here to
belief?
wind
Yeah, we know.
you up because you lie every day to people.
Well, we're trying to establish that. You've claimed that based on entropy, and now I'm taking you step by step through my claims that you've ignored and
I'm
have
not
no
gonna let you take
and
me
have no
step by
rebuttal
step
to,
through
but
anything
just
that
talk
you're
over
right.
every single time I get to the conclusion. So we're trying to establish whether or not what you claim is accurate, even though it's just an ad hominem attack, and it's going to be based on what I state about pressure. Now, PSI is a measurement of pressure. I want to know, first of all, if you know what that means.
Proof of you being a liar is still uploaded to your channel.
It's not-
hundreds and hundreds
It's not
and hundreds of
the
hours.
topic. This is just an ad hominem, Don. It's your last chance. Then if you've literally got nothing to offer, you're not welcome here. If you're just here to attack me personally, I'm here talking about the shape of the Earth and the fundamentalist religious assertion that the sky is a vacuum and that we have gas pressure next to that vacuum without it dissipating. Now what I'm saying is gas pressure needs to press on something, and the measurement for how much it presses is PSI. Now I want you to undo that statement of fact and tie it to me lying. Go. Give you 5 seconds, Dawn, then you're useless to me and I'll just cut you out of the conversation. 4, 3.
See you later, liar.
Yep, you've got nothing to offer. Literally 0. Nothing to offer. Just like Brenda yesterday. Seems we opened the show with the dumbest, most useless globe heads that the argument has to offer to open with. You're a liar. When you state laws of nature, you're just wrong, because I don't understand them. This is the level that we have to defend the globe lie. Amazing. Who else is in Discord?
I'm surprised you put up with it as long as you did. I mean, if you listen to the Window Licker show, anyone that overtalks Jose, he just kicks them immediately. Let's adopt the ballers' ideals.
Nah.
No, I don't mind Dawn taking it to its conclusion, which is to admit entirely that he knows nothing about anything, but will claim I'm lying and don't know anything, based on 0 education in the subject that he's discussing, and then continually ad hom and talk over me when I rebut any claim he makes, or presupposition he inserts into a demonstration that he hasn't made yet, or claims that he's been to space with the word we.
Yeah, but they used a pathetically feeble belly laugher excuse. We won't go over to Nathan's because he mutes us. Well, you got the window lickers over there, Jose. He kicks them out. He just kicks them. There's no mute, just kick them. Yeah, I don't mute. Yeah, you kick them. Right? Kind of standard is that? Of course, we all know why you guys don't come in here. Because you get your asses handed to you. Everyone knows it. Right? Clowns.
Got to be some brave souls in Discord. There's people in there.
Yeah, well, come off mute and share your pain.
Yeah, I've got tissues for you guys.
Oh, that was good, John.
Right, everyone in Discord's off mute.
Waiting.
Globers.
Don was the only risk kicker today, it seems.
Hi guys, I just got access back. Can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better.
I apologize for that earlier.
No, it's all right. I apologise for getting so angry.
So what I wanted to bring up is the fact that the second law of thermodynamics does not state that you cannot have gas pressure next to a vacuum.
It's a logical consequence of the law. Duh.
So the law at its core talks about what direction order goes. It goes from order to disorder.
Wrong.
There is
wrong. From the entropysite.org. This view was broached partially in a previous article that showed disorder was outmoded and misleading as a descriptor of entropy. That was years ago. I mean, you gotta start keeping up on your continuing education credits.
I am indeed keeping up on my continuing education.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
order
so.
and disorder, you're right. There are some problems with those phrases, right?
Why did you say it then?
There's nothing in the law.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, you got a problem. Yeah.
Why did you say it then?
Yeah, because there are a lot of other words that would likely not give the picture of what entropy is actually trying to.
That's very interesting. So why did you use
that?
So why did you use those words then, given that they're incorrect and there are better words that you could have used? Why did you use those words then?
Because you guys are pigeonholing this particular law of thermodynamics into a gas pressure issue when it has an application in gas pressure, but doesn't specifically prohibit gas pressure next to a vacuum or in a vacuum.
Oh yes, it does, sir. From the entropysite.org.
Just
hold on a
literally,
second. Oh, good.
I was just going to say, John, he literally just addressed this literally 2 moments ago. It seems you have the same affliction as Dawn, that literally you don't listen to what's just been said to you only moments earlier, only to then reassert the exact same nonsense, having completely ignored the rebuttal. So, yes, now I've made that clear that this will be the second time this has been stated to you. I'd prefer you don't whistle past it a third time. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, gas expansion into a vacuum, mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy due to increased dispersion of energy with no change in total energy in case of ideal substances, due to a greater number of microstates for the particular system involved. You fall down, go boom, boom.
So here's your problem. The idea
No,
with a
that's your
system
problem.
involved. No, hold up. The idea of a system involved, especially with each of those instances of the second law of thermodynamics that you just mentioned, are in closed systems. Right?
Oh, really? So what you're
of
trying to
hey,
tell
hold up,
me
hold up.
is the
They're
second law
descriptors
only
of what's
applies
going
to
on.
closed
Hey, hold up.
systems.
I wasn't finished talking.
Oh, yes,
what
you
goes
are.
on in a closed
You're finished
system.
talking.
Okay.
Yeah,
Hey, no,
you're finished
excuse me.
talking. So are
There's
you saying
descriptors of
that the
what's
second
going on
law
in a
only
closed
applies to
system.
closed systems? Is that what you're saying?
Excuse me, I couldn't hear you. You were talking over me.
Yeah, that's right. You've made a statement that it involves closed systems. So does the second law only apply to closed systems?
No, what I said with those descriptors that you gave involved closed systems.
No, it didn't. It didn't say anything about closed systems.
Read it again.
Gas expansion into a vacuum, a mixing of ideal gases or liquids, diffusion, effusion, colligative effects, and osmosis each fundamentally involves an increase in entropy due to increased dispersion of energy with no change in total energy in the case of ideal substances due to a greater number of microstates for the particular system involved.
What's a microstate for the particular?
Sorry, he didn't mention closed systems. Why are you dancing around?
Oh, I'm not dancing around. I'm actually getting right.
So we'll go back to your assertion. He asked you specifically why you would assert in your statement that it's only in reference to closed systems. Your rebuttal being, you said closed systems. No, he didn't. So let's not move past this.
Yes, microstates in a system refers to the fact that you have isolated a specific instance that you are measuring the entropy for. That, in colloquial language, is called a closed system.
That's bullshit. That doesn't say closed systems. What is microstate? What are we going to define adjectives here? That was total
That's a noun.
gibberish. Gibberish.
If you're going to define a microstate in a system, you have to close that system off, either metrically or physically.
You have to close that system up, either metrically or... Right, so do you live in a closed system?
No.
You don't live in a closed system. Does the second law apply to open systems?
Yes, sir.
So you've got no
then
point.
why? Oh my god!
You've got absolutely no point there.
Thanks. This is brilliant.
No, this you guys don't realize the hole that you're digging for yourself right now.
Nah, you just dug your own hole, buddy.
It's another classic.
It's actually
another one
comical.
for the books, Nathan.
So here's the deal. If you have a closed system that you're trying to measure entropy for, you either do that metrically or physically, right? You actually you end up measuring the work that happens within that particular space. You guys are trying to apply that, right? In saying that because there is a vacuum above, or there's supposed to be
No, that's not what we're saying.
Above this gradient.
Stop! Nobody here says because there is a vacuum. Nobody says that. That's your fundamentalist religious belief. Don't claim that we are stating because there is a vacuum when that's the antithesis. When that is the antithesis of what we are stating.
Yes,
we are stating there can't
apologies.
possibly be a vacuum because of these laws of nature. We don't start with your fundy presupposition, you stupid idiot.
Yeah, my apologies. I'll take that back. Let me say what I mean then. You guys are asserting that there can be no atmosphere with a vacuum, right, outside of that pressure, at the end of that pressure gradient.
No,
That's your
outside. No. When do we say outside of it? Next to it. Not outside of it, my friend. That would imply a closed system.
No.
Excuse me, I'm still talking. That would imply a closed system and outside of it, a vacuum. No, mate. In your fundy religious sphere world, you've got gas pressure right next to the vacuum, not outside of it. So no, we don't claim that either. You seem to want to misrepresent what we claim. We're not claiming anything. We just state a natural. We just state a natural law that dictates the gas would fill the space.
That law does not dictate that that gas would fill that space.
Well, why does the guy? Why does the guy at MIT teach that then?
Because he's talking about a closed system.
Sorry, so again, we're back to you asserting that the second law of thermodynamics does not apply to an open system.
No, but that it's
so who
metric
cares?
description.
It makes no difference if it applies equally to both. So this little straw man's not going to fly, is it, Sunshine?
It's not a straw man. So what I'm
yeah,
trying
it is
to
because it
point
applies
out
equally.
guys,
It is a straw man because you claiming that his demonstration is a demonstration in a closed system would imply that somehow it makes a difference when it's an open system, which your fundamentalist sphere world is, when in reality it makes no difference. It applies equally to both open and closed systems, as you've conceded. So your straw man that Mr. MIT, when dictating to his audience that entropy would dictate that the gas would fill the available space, then no, it makes no difference that that's an example in a closed system. It equally applies to your fundy open system, and the gas would fill the space. Entropy applies equally to both open and closed. And in this instance, your fundy religious belief in an open world is undone by a law of nature. The gas would fill the space.
The gas would not fill the space, okay, especially given the example that you're talking about, juxtaposed, right, with what we actually say the vacuum of space is, particularly a vacuum that grades down into the pressure that we experience on the surface.
Wait a second. That's a red herring fallacy. Which comes first, gas pressure or gas pressure gradients?
No, he's basically claiming the outer gas universe now. Okay, look, if the gradient here on Earth is pretty measurable over a short distance, well, a gradient only really can set in within the entirety of the container. So if the gradient here on Earth is that small, then if it's going to be in the entire outer space, we shouldn't see that type of gradient. That doesn't make any logical sense.
Which comes first?
Yeah, that's definitely not true. Especially given the fact that it's not a very small difference. I mean, you go to 30,000 feet.
What?
I
already said this is a red herring
Hold on,
fallacy.
John. Hold on,
entire
we're going
outer
off the
space?
rails. Hold on, Owen. Ask your question again, John. Let's see if he gives an answer.
I said it's a red herring fallacy again for the 20,585th time. Red herring fallacy. Our question is, how do you have gas pressure without a container? Now, which comes first, gas pressure or gas pressure gradients? In other words, which comes first, X or delta X?
I'm not sure exactly how you're contextualizing this question. I don't understand.
Well, let me rephrase it. Which comes first, gas pressure or gas pressure, wait for it, gradient? Given that there was a massive pause between number 1 and number 1.1, you can safely assert that gas pressure comes before a gas pressure gradient, and the necessary antecedent for gas pressure is a container.
Not true.
Well, demonstrate that then. Demonstrate gas pressure without a container. Go.
Walk outside.
Sorry, walk outside. I experience gas pressure. So what you're... Hold on. Don't belly laugh. You're saying by walking outside, what? I experience pressure.
You
gas
will
pressure.
start feeling. Yep, you'll experience pressure, exactly.
Yeah, and the necessary antecedent is still a container. So I can imply when I experience gas pressure, i.e. I don't go out and experience 10 to the minus 17 torr vacuum because entropy's taken effect. I can assert by going outside that we have a container. The gas is pressing on something. It has to, otherwise it wouldn't be pressure. So no, going outside backs my argument, not yours. Experiencing gas pressure still requires the necessary antecedent of a container. So no, that's not a demonstration of gas pressure without a container. That's a demonstration of your fundamentalist religious belief that the sky is a vacuum.
Yeah, it's circular too, because that's what he's attempting to prove.
Right. So beyond your fundamentalist religious belief in a sky vacuum, can you demonstrate a violation of the second law of thermodynamics by way of gas pressure without a container?
I've already demonstrated that it is not a violation of the second law of thermodynamics to have gas pressure without.
Really? Where'd you demonstrate that?
Hold on. Okay, no worries. Guys, why is it getting rumpus?
Says that, and it's not even applicate.
Right, my friend, I'm trying to rebut what you've said. You have stated that it's not a violation of the second law of thermodynamics to have gas pressure without a container. Now let's say, just for the sake of this argument, I concede this. Now show me that that's true.
What type of proof or experiment would you like?
I want a demonstration of gas pressure without a container.
Give me some parameters for the experience you would like.
No worries. Gas at pressure without something to press on. How clear can this not be?
So you want me to take you to a place that has vacuum, like a complete vacuum. There's nothing, right? And show you how there can be gas pressure there.
I don't give a crap what you do to back your fundamentalist religious assertion that a violation of the second law of thermodynamics is possible by demonstration. In other words, I want you to show me a tyre pressure without the tyre. Like somebody going into a garage and finished. You wanted qualification, didn't you? You asked. You played dumb. Now I'm explaining and you're interrupting. That's why you're dumb. Ignorant. Talking when I am. So, for example, you go into a garage and you say, those tyres are about $100 each. That's quite expensive. The bit I really need is the gas pressure, but without the container. So can you put that air hose round the rim of my wheel and not give me the tyre to press on? So, in summary, fundy sky vacuum religious believer, I would like a demonstration of gas pressure, the thing that expands in all directions to fill the container it's in, but without it expanding in all directions as per the second law of thermodynamics, and pressing on nothing, just suspended in mid-air or wherever you choose without the necessary antecedent of something to press upon. Simple. Go.
Sure. So the tire descriptor, of course, that's ridiculous. Can't do that, right? But with that,
sorry, you can't do that. Sorry, did you just say you can't do that?
Yeah, hold up.
I didn't hear what you said. I think I heard you say you can't do that. You've got a rubbish mic still, so I need to interrupt to find out what you actually said. See if you've conceded, rather than continually talking while I try and gain clarity from the fundy who doesn't want his point to be clear because he hasn't got a point to make. So until you shut up and give clarity, did you say that's not possible?
With the tire pressure example.
Any example. That was just an example. Any that you choose.
But what I said is in the second one, before you interrupted me, is in the second example, with the parameters that you gave, I can actually create a vacuum in a chamber, right? So it can simulate an open environment, and I can create pressure.
You said it's in a chamber!
I was just about to say, I waited for his pause so I wasn't seen as being rude. Is a chamber a container?
So here, here's the thing. I've heard you do this.
Sorry, you didn't answer me. Don't say here's the thing. Just answer yes or no, Fundy, while you talk all over me. Yeah, this is the point that your example's getting obliterated. So don't interrupt.
Nope.
You just need to give a simple, concise answer without interruption like you're doing right now. So yes or no, is a chamber a container? Yes or no?
According to the parameters you just gave me, no.
So a chamber, according to the parameters I said, not a container, is not a container. You believe a chamber is not a container. You are... I'm finished. Excuse me, I'm summarising the situation. Stop talking over me. I'm summarising the situation. Sorry, you don't need to rumpus the demolition of your absolutely ludicrous assertion. I'll just point out to the audience that it is absolutely a ludicrous assertion to say that a chamber is not a container, when I absolutely assure you that a chamber has got walls to press upon and absolutely and without question meets the parameters of a container. So, no, you are wrong. A chamber is a container. You are just clearly stupid to make such a ridiculous assertion based on your total failure to demonstrate gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container. And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's debating live panel. If you're watching this on Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
So chambers are not a container. Nice.
Yeah, who was that speaking?
Can we get your name for your toe tag, please?
Hey, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for earlier.
Don't worry about it.
I honestly couldn't hear anything from that side. I'm sorry.
Apology accepted. Who was that crayon muncher that was talking? Was that D-Dave?
No, it wasn't me.
No, who was the gentleman that was talking for the past 20 minutes that didn't know anything about the second law of thermodynamics?
Spurs might know. Ask him.
I can't remember what the hell his name is.
Has he gone already?
Is that D-Dave?
No,
Oh, it wasn't me. I thought the chamber was in his mind.
Did nobody catch his name? Let's hope I scroll past him while the live stream was running.
I just recognize him from being the reverse reification fallacy guy.
Oh, is that who it
I'm
was?
looking for it.
That's who that was.
Reverse. Oh, yes, I do remember him now. Reverse. No, that's a reification fallacy. What do you mean it's a reification fallacy? Well, by taking something that's actually concrete and making it abstract, it reverses the reification fallacy. Therefore, you're guilty of it. Yeah, I remember that bonehead.
What was his name?
I don't know. Very useful information that I had, though.
I jumped into Discord just to get his name, but he didn't. I didn't see him. I didn't see his glow.
Oh, never mind. I'm sure.
Yeah, I never got his name. I just remember the fallacy.
We can call him Mr. Chambers.
Yeah, Mr. Chambers. That'll be his nickname.
Hey, Nathan, so that's the only show today? You just have the after show?
Yeah, this is we're now into the after show.
You want me to put him in the after show?
Yeah, boot them all to the after show. Then they're all mics open and I don't have to faff with it.
Yeah.
It's interesting how he was backpedaling and he had to admit to a container.
But he didn't. He said it met the criteria for not being one, right?
Yeah.
Great way to end the show, though.
I like it how they you ask for a demonstration and they give you an explanation. I think they think explanations are demonstrations. I'm beginning to notice that pattern.
Failing that, a reassertion.
Or they tell you about something we can do in the future, or we can make plans for things. Like, where has this been done? This is the question, guys. Not what can we do in the future, going forward. No, no, no. Where the hell has this been done? Please and thank you.
Yeah. Where's that Wascally Wannick?
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. I was meant to mention it on the live show, as in we're now in Wednesday. He claimed he would come back with a non-force giving rise to a force with citation and demonstrable backing, and he's just vanished.
And wasn't his name RcMeisty?
RC what?
Oh God.
Meisty. I put in the.
We're getting his name, John.
Okay.
I didn't hear it though.
RcMeisty.
RcMeisty.
MEISTY.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
5165. Yep.
Can you say it all?
Can you give his full name again?
And you got his name.
Go ahead. In English this time, can you give us the full name?
RcMeisty.
RcMeisty. Can you type in live stream?
I have. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up.
Perfect.
Seven. Hold on, I'll go through here.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it. 7 Up. You got a soda? RC. I don't see any. I don't see any 7 Up here.
Okay, I'll post it one more time. How about that?
Oh, okay. Thank you. I got you now. RcMeisty. Oh, and he's got a number with his name. RcMeisty. I'll give it to you, Nathan.
Okay. I meant to trim out that Bob the Fallacy Guy toe tag that you gave me.
Did you put the other the Jose
Yes.
Sean Bluffer?
Yeah, that went in the toe tag playlist. Yes, it did.
Appreciate it. All right, there's his name. I put it in chat.
Excellent.
Hey, John, did you find that show about the shelf that you were looking for yesterday?
Oh, yeah, I did. I put it in Master Beans.
Oh, okay. Who's making all that racket? So right, in Master B, we've got. I want to play this. Where is Master B? Oh, I'm quite excited. Master B, here we go. 400. No, that can't be it. How far up in Master B? Is this it? 5 Arts? Flat Earth Hangout Day? Tartar Tuesday? No. Nobody's giving me any hints.
Hold on.
Here we go. Got it. Tilted Shelf. Yes. Okay, so
Oh.
it's time-stamped. Excellent. Right, shall I play this for the audience then?
You'd have to. It's hard with the audio because Debbie's rumpusing them.
Okay.
But that's okay. I don't go ahead and play a few minutes.
Well, you know,
you'll get.
will you know if it's at the right point? So I've got it at 4310.
Does it have a flat surface?
Okay, so if I'm only looking at the shelf, I see it is flat.
Okay. Is
Only
it
the shelf.
all right?
To
All right.
me, it's flat.
Okay, the shelf.
Now, if I take
the
the shelf
is
away,
flat.
let me-
Okay, the shelf is flat.
Don't
That's
try
good.
to
That's
trick me.
good.
I have some
Now,
Debbie, don't get ahead of
going
yourself.
on. I'm
Debbie,
gonna call
don't get
it.
ahead of yourself.
Debbie, don't get ahead of
Don't
yourself.
get ahead of yourself.
This is why it would be bad for me to
So
come here and
here we go. Here we go. It's okay, Debbie.
You're gonna
It's
be
okay.
the
We'll
illusion.
get there. We'll get there.
They try to trick my senses.
Wow, whoever Debbie is, she's rumpusing the hell out of him.
Yeah, she is. That's yeah.
Just trying to make an example, right?
Yeah, they're trying. Yeah, it's a real train wreck. They got a tilted shelf up there, right? And they're asking her whether it's flat. Or no, I think they asked her whether it was level or not, and it's tilted, right? So obvious it's not level, right? But then he switches up, right? He switches the question into what the surface is and what the shelf is, right? That's how he says flat doesn't equal level. It's a train wreck, man. It's so hilarious, but it's kind of hard to listen to because she's rumpusing him the whole time.
Fair enough. We'll give it another 10 seconds.
It's okay. We'll get there. We will get there. We will get there. Okay, so you have agreed that the shelf is flat.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, we would all agree the shelf is flat, but definitely not level.
Yeah, no, wait a second. The shelf isn't flat. Do you have the video up?
Yeah, I've got a picture of it. It's tilted.
Then it's not flat.
Okay, no, fine. So what would you describe it as then? So would it be smooth?
You don't know because the girl looking at the shelf is down beneath the shelf. You can assume that the surface of the shelf is smooth, but the question is the shelf flat?
Right. I suppose the way I would think about that is to say if I took a couple of bricks and put a piece of wood up on them so that I could do a jump with the skateboard for the sake of argument, and someone said, "Oh, the reason you've got a ramp is because it's not flat." See what I mean? So what he's got effectively is a ramp. Well, then it's not flat.
Wouldn't you rather call it perfectly straight?
Straight? That would be an accurate description, wouldn't it? Straight?
Level.
Yeah,
No,
but
no, no.
level is more about the orientation towards the rest. No, but
yeah, but
the
the
flatness
shelf
aspect would be emphasized by.
Yeah, you're
it
missing
being
it. The
straight.
shelf is the tilted shelf is not level,
Hold
but
on,
the surface is smooth. Right? So there's two different questions going on here that's getting conflated, right?
But a smooth surface is basically only the texture, the structure surface of it. Doesn't emphasize its total shape.
Exactly. That's what they're conflating, and then they're laughing at her because they're morons.
Okay. I mean,
go ahead. I don't remember the rest of it. Go ahead, play a few. 20 more seconds.
Hang on. We will get there. We will get there. It's okay. It's okay. I understand. It's hard. It's okay. I understand.
I for one can't follow both of you at the same time, and I know that everybody else can't. So
yeah. So we're gonna have. Okay, we're at the point now. I'm sorry. We are at the point. Debbie, we're at the point now. We have to mute you because nobody can hear what the hell anybody's saying, and there's no point of having a conversation if you just don't shut the fuck up for a second. Now he asked you a question. You said it's flat. Now can we go to the second part of the question?
Okay, so here it goes. So here's the second question.
Okay. So this is probably the right time to start then. So 4422 we're going from.
Okay. So here is the second question. Since Debbie has agreed that the shelf is flat, second question, is it level?
That's what yeah, you got it.
Okay, I'm glad I played it through. I'd have written it off and gone, no, Ranty's is better. But no, I still think Ranty's is better.
No way!
Yeah, with Ranty's, you haven't seen it though, have you?
I haven't seen that particular one. But
there you go.
Wait a second.
What did you say to
Don't
me
rump us.
yesterday?
Look, you gotta let Ranty have his moment now. I'm afraid, Quantum Eraser.
What did you say to me yesterday?
Hey, don't rumpus me. I got you.
What did you say to me yesterday? You had to go with me because I hadn't seen yours.
Oh my God, you won't let me speak. I know. This is a Glover's mute button.
I'm
Okay,
on
got it.
mute, everyone.
I'm on mute too. I'm on mute. You go ahead.
Now, you're gonna let me speak to defend myself or what? Are you on mute? Okay. Now, I didn't see the exact Jeranism hangout where he did this. However, I've seen other people do the compression thing with the sides. How about that?
Okay, it's not about the example that makes it so funny. What makes it so funny is that they're all pulling each other's willies while this is happening and saying curvature, curvature, like they're in ecstasy over this example, and they're so pleased with themselves about it that it just makes it that much more beautiful. They're so smug about it. And when I'm not knocking Ranty's version because he also did one, but when Jaren did it, he did it in such a matter-of-fact way with very little smugness that just made it so beautiful, because he's rubbing it right in their face without any ad hominems, without any asides. It was just brilliant. Well, that's just my opinion.
Okay, we need to hear, but we need to put both side by side then, because you didn't play that one.
No, I didn't. You're right. I'm just selling it.
That's not. I don't have enough cowbell.
That'll be tomorrow. I'll dig it out. I'll dig out Jaren's and indeed Ranty's.
Okay, fair enough.
Post the link in Master B.
Yeah, I will. I'll get the link and I'll find it. Well, or maybe Ranty will. One of us will find Jaren's video.
Now, can you put them together, like side by side? So, and start where, because you had a good spot right there, where Reds was asking the question.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, with Jaren's video, it goes through and dissects it. It's not like I could only play maybe 2 or 3 seconds and get the laugh.
Got it.
What would get the laugh is the clip itself. So, Ranty, do you have that to hand where they're going curvature, curvature? Bloody hell, you put me on the spot now.
He's still on mute.
They were really chanting like that?
Oh, I was still on mute? Yeah, give me 2 minutes.
Oh, he said yes. He's going to just take him a couple of minutes. Excellent.
Cool. Oh, I forgot about ball busters.
Oh, bollocks. I had pictures on the whole time. The audience didn't get to see the stupid shelf. Damn it.
Oh, you did. Oh,
I'll put it on now. At least people can see what we're talking about. There you go. There's who is it? Non sequitur show. Flat Earth meltdown. Red Rhetoric versus Debbie Duran, Watton, and Uber. There you go. There it is.
Can I push back on the shelf example?
Yeah, man.
Push back.
Hang on. Just hang on. Bear with me. If you read the definition of flat, a smooth and even without mark, lumpness, or indentation. So if you put the shelf in relation to itself, it would be flat.
That's not the definition of flat, Holmes.
I've got it pulled up on the screen right now.
Wow, that's a really nice mind trick.
Hold on. Go ahead, Paul.
I've got the definition of flat pulled up. It says smooth and even without mark, lumpness, or indentation. I've got the definition pulled up. That's what it says right here on my screen.
Really? I've got about 6 definitions that pummel that. That's only part of it.
Yeah,
well, there's other aspects of it. I mean, I won't doubt that. Okay, the flat part of something in or to a horizontal position. So in one sense, I would say that it was not flat because it's not in relationship to the horizon or the ground. It is not flat. But in relation to itself, it would be flat.
Yeah, it depends on, I agree. That's
so
why
technically we should be calling it straight Earth.
No, flat. The flat's the word that he used. So while you might use a comparison, we're talking specific about the words that Red Rhetoric used. He used flat, right? And initially when John presented this, I was like, okay, flat, yeah. And you were like, no. But here we go, definition. You know, in other words, my first assumption was right. That said, the synonyms absolutely pummel it. So can you read the synonyms, please, Paul?
Let me see. Level, horizontal, or more. Right? Like I said,
leveled
up. I get that. But I mean, could that be not in relationship to something? What is it in relationship to?
That's the point. It's in reference to. So in isolation, yeah, Red's rhetoric could arguably be correct in his flat assertion when you've got a tilted shelf. In isolation.
It's
no way. You can't have wait a second. You can't have a level. Oh my God, I'm getting rumpus.
No, I was actually talking.
Go on, Owen.
Me.
Go on, Owen.
Right. So yeah, flat is a geometrical aspect. It's a conceptual deduction. So it's geometry. So you can. It's not a physical thing. Part of the problem with scientific method and everything. So. You go,
what the hell are you talking about?
He's just trying to trigger you. You dropped the word scientific method in there, and I know damn well that was just thrown in there, wasn't it, Aaron, you little sod?
It's a conceptual deduction.
It happened naturally. I swear it.
Bullshit.
No, I swear. I just swore.
Right, moving on. It's a shelf. Go ahead, John.
You can't have a level slope or a level curve.
That's my point, John. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. In relationship to the horizon or the ground, the shelf is not level. But in relationship to itself, it could be considered flat.
Right.
This is not that difficult. If you think of a mountain and a lake on top of a mountain, the lake surface is flat and level, but the surrounding ground is tiered.
2641 without.
Oh my God!
Nathan?
I'm sorry for even bringing it up.
Nathan, play that clip.
Oh, 26. What clip? Whoa! I'm suddenly overwhelmed.
Put it in the group chat.
Group chat on Master B.
Do you want it in Master B's?
I can have it wherever.
Right, I'll send it to you direct then.
You got to share it. I can't.
I will. I'll actually make sure the audience can see it this time.
Play it from 2641.
2641.
Yeah, that's when I've taken their clip. Watch this, John.
Hold on, it's got an ad.
Pin your lug holes back.
Did you know that your...
You're not displaying it, Nate.
Look, just give me a chance, I promise.
Commercial break.
Can you see?
Not yet.
Yeah. Yes, we can see.
No, I can't see.
Okay, is everybody happy?
Yes.
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 You were looking at a drone flight at 1,638 feet with the picture actually compressed left to right. And there is your curvature over water.
So basically what we're looking at here is curvature.
Yes, curvature over water. Water sticking to the exterior of a spinning ball.
This is a processed fucking image from a drone that has the ability to be squished and looked at and scrutinized in a way that looking at shit with the naked eye you cannot fucking do with. Ranty, this is a image that's been compressed. The very moment that you're able to do that with the naked eye, maybe then you'll have reason to call bullshit on Neil deGrasse Tyson. But the thing is that we're able to do things with images that we can't do with naked eye observations. Like, for example, squish them so that we can make any curvature that is there drastically more dramatic so we can actually see it.
Okay, Mr. Ranty, this is the original image from a screenshot from the drone flight. It was a video in its original size. And all we do is grab this right edge and say, squish. This allows us to see curvature in a very unique way. Let's bring that back to the center so we can zoom in on it now. Now, if the horizon is truly flat, it will remain flat the whole way through. Ooh,
curvature.
Curvature. Eat a dick.
Curvature.
Does look a bit like curvature, doesn't it?
Curvature.
A bit of concavity there in the middle.
That's enough.
All right, that's pretty darn good.
That was the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Man, we should encourage them to do like a rap on that. Or maybe we could do it.
Please no. Please no.
There was plenty more.
Curvature.
Look at that. Almost as good as that was the reaction from Ranty when he got in touch with me about it. He was 10 times more excited than that. Look what I've got! This is so cool, and he's removed it already.
That's removed.
So,
oh yeah,
squishing is now science. Squish. That's what we do now.
Yep, barrel distortion, and you squish it.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense, because if you're going to stare in the distance that far, you're still going to have a circle of view, basically. You know?
Yeah, of course you are. So if you're seeing if you can look 180 degrees, you are looking in a circle.
Exactly.
Or semicircle.
Yeah, so if you take a 180-degree photo, yeah, there's always going to be apparent curvature. But it's not actually curvature.
Well, you're going to get barrel distortion from the lens, and the compression is just going to accentuate it.
I mean, you can negate it to a certain degree, but you're always going to have the fundamental principle of what's being used to create the image in the first instance. It's a lens. You're never going to get away with. You're never going to get away from that. You know, that's
exactly.
It's always going to be a lens.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Yep. Yeah, but I don't know if that beats the tilted shelf, dude. I don't think I got a fair hearing.
I presented it on your behalf instead of you. I'm sure you'd have presented it much better. But then again, I did the same for Ranty. You know. Well, we'll have to take a vote in the chat. So when this goes out on Premiere, if you think that the tilted shelf is beyond ludicrous and deserves a Dumb Fuck of the Year award, then press 1 now. And if you believe that Ranty's curvature example is better, then put a number 2, and we'll see who gets this mini Dumb Fuck of the Year award. Is it Red Rhetoric number 1 with tilted shelf, or Red Rhetoric number 2 with curvature?
Appeal to consensus fallacy.
I think the curvature was funnier.
It's only a bit of fun anyway, right? So we can use fallacies. It's just a bit of fun.
The other one is more semantical, so it's just.
No, the ones
the
where they're
curvature,
chanting curvature.
I love that one.
Just sad.
No,
yeah, we got one opinion from the panel. Arwin thinks the curvature one is the best one. Any
yeah,
more
we
opinions?
should definitely make a video out of that and make like a rap.
I'll second that. Of the two, I like the shelf one because it's so stupid, but the arrogance and cocky, smug nature that they come out with after the fact. The example's better. The tilted shelf's better in terms of his example because, yeah, the compressing stuff. At least there's something that you could look at there and go, there's something that they can point at that is actually curving at least. But it's just the reaction that's better because they're so smug about it.
Oh, no, that's not the reaction. The reaction, that has to be a side that's a side point.
I'm not saying that the example is not also strong. I mean, it is still pretty damn stupid. Let's be honest. I just went through the whole lens thing, right? To back the stupidity of the argument.
Yeah, they're both pretty stupid. I still have my favorite. I'll die on that hill.
Thanks for digging that out, Ranty. That made it a lot more worthwhile having both of them up.
Yeah, no worries.
This is just lowbrow shit, though, right? We all appreciate that.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't actually have a unique way of seeing curvature, that's for sure.
Yeah, but beyond the examples themselves, this is just a cheap ad hom attack.
Yes.
But fun nonetheless.
I mean, if that was gonna prove globe, why didn't they just do that a long time ago? Why don't they just squash all the pictures?
This is why I love chocolate.
They forgot.
Sorry, Owen, I was just going to say, this is why I love chocolate so much, because he's just brought it right back onto it not being an ad hom right after me saying that. Thank you so much, Chocolate. You're ace.
No problem. But again, like, I don't know. This is just dumb. They literally squashed the picture and said, "There's your curvature." Really?
But what about the shelf, Chocolate?
We're 3-0 at the moment, John. 1 if we include you.
I wanted to say, to be fair, they're trying to reinvent the wheel, but instead of a wheel, it's actually the globe. It must be really tough.
Actually, to be fair, that was an ad hom with chocolate on top.
That was an ad hom with chocolate on top. That's very good. I like that. You're not wrong. But I do think what Arwin just said was pretty interesting, though. Sorry, 10th man. You're right, Arwin. Is it just an attempt to reinvent something that's, going to die off? It's kind of like the Airfix models of the 21st century. They need to reinvent it and make it seem more appealing, and hopefully people will swallow it once again. Or do you think they're actually no? This is a full-blown attempt to re-indoctrinate people and keep them programmed, where they're failing because of people like us.
Yep.
Well, that was the last caller. That was the last caller, reinventing open and closed system and microstate, and then him saying that a container doesn't apply, but then he called it something that mirrored the container.
But that's a standard cognitive dissonance split up tactic that they do every time and get divided about it because they can't solve it. So it's just a standard approach to an insolvable problem. They get cognitive dissonant about it and divide it. Right? That's what's going on.
It's just a reinterpretation of something that they can't defend.
Right. It's what happened with Coriolis. That's where I know
like saying,
first.
It's like saying, he's my father. No, he's your dad.
Interesting to see how the layman takes this on board. So Dawn is quite useful in that regard, because what he's showing is, even though he doesn't understand stuff, he's more willing to just assume that the people who have a winning argument or a decent rebuttal are just lying to him. Flat out lying. That's his attitude. That's the way he copes with it, which is interesting.
Yeah, but his motivation was clear. He's here because he says you're lying.
That doesn't make any sense as a motivation unless you're going to dip into, Stockholm syndrome or something.
Well, what I'm saying is he's willing to listen to the sources that get him to have the motivation that you're lying. So he's got to get on the show to prove that you're the liar. But he doesn't check out the people telling him stuff.
No, he just disclaims that he trusts and believes.
Yeah.
At least he's paying attention. He knows that in the past, at least, that was a get out of jail free card here. Less and less recently.
Well, someone who really is grounded on something doesn't mind anyone coming by and saying, I can disprove what you believe. You say, good, go ahead. Let me see it. No, that's what the show's about.
It's gone silent because I'm trying to stop myself from divining motivation, you know what I mean? Figuring out the motivation. What is it that you said?
No, we didn't have to figure it out, Nathan. He said what his motivation was. I asked him. He says, well, I'm here to prove Nathan's a liar. That was he said it.
Right.
I'm not trying to figure it out.
But why? Who cares? I'm just some guy.
I know. That's the beauty of it.
He has an infatuation with you, Nate.
You're going to brace against something that goes against your fundamentalist religious belief, right? If somebody's messing with that, you're going to pay close attention and want to ridicule it.
Yes, you either come up with evidence to disprove that person, i.e. you, or you ridicule that person, i.e. you, because you cannot afford, i.e. you, to be right.
Your second show, Dave?
No. So, that's a good reminder, actually. I keep meaning to do this on the damn live show so it goes out to the main audience. The shows are much more simple now. So, it's every day, Monday to Sunday, live show at 2. Yeah, that's nice and simple. Then, every day, Monday to Sunday at 10, these are UK times, there's an after show, uncut and after show.
Do you premiere them both on both channels at the same time?
No.
Why
So there's
not?
only one show at one time. I'm not going to compete with myself. But every day of the week, the only caveat is you've got to be subscribed to both channels. That's it. And if you are subscribed to both channels, every day at 2, there'll be a live show. And every day at 10, there'll be an after show. Simple. So I've simplified it.
Why don't you premiere both at the same time at 10 o'clock at night on both?
I can't premiere a live stream I'm actually making, Granty. That's why.
You won't be doing a live stream.
I will. 2 o'clock live stream.
10 p.m. You'll premiere it on one channel.
Yeah.
And then you can premiere it with the after show on your Nathan Oakley 1981 as well.
No, it goes out live and just stays out.
This is live now. We're live still.
No, we're in the after show now.
There you go. Hello.
Yeah,
Wakey,
so this will
wakey.
go out. So this show now that we're recording. So the time now in the UK is 35 minutes past 3. This will actually broadcast at approximately. So this will be broadcasting at about. Let's have a look at the timer. 1 hour 41. So it'll be broadcasting at 11:41. No, it'll be 11:43 because there's 2 minutes at the start. So this is now 11:43 UK time that this is actually playing. Well, there's a reasonable chance I'll be tucked up in bed or dealing with a baby or doing something else, you know what I mean? But my point is that we're recording it now, the live show's just been and gone, and that will stay out for people to watch if they want to watch what's just happened. But this bit will go out a bit later on, but consistently every single day. So every day at 10, after show, every day at 2, live show. Simple.
Right. What about on the Nathan Oakley channel?
Yeah, you've got to be subscribed to both. I don't want to, because this is recorded and an audience is listening to this, I don't want to confuse it with various caveats that are unimportant. So to simplify it, in reality, the amount of time I spend recording is exactly the same. It makes no difference. It's just the way I've broken it up is slightly different. So from the point of view of the audience, they got 70% of what was eventually released on a Tuesday and Wednesday. And it was just split up into 2 live shows with a little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end of each one. Whereas now, I'm going to do 1 live show and it'll just be an extended after show, like now. So we're all here, we're all still chatting. Discord's still there, although no one's piping up, which is fine. Discord seems to be typically quiet, even though that's where I'd expect the controversy to come from. But there we go. Anyway, besides the point, everyone's still here. There can still be a conversation. Wiggles yesterday was long into the after show. Do you see what I mean? So that unique content just went out at 10 o'clock and will do, although it didn't because P Mars got his arse out and completely ruined my schedule. The first day I announced it, which was yesterday, P Mars comes along and the edits took an eternity to actually take place. And I kept putting it back by quarter of an hour, waiting for it to change. And then eventually it changed. It showed the timer as being 7 seconds lower, where I'd edited out the bit with his ass. So I was like, okay, finally I can publish it. So at midnight, after chasing it all evening, up the time scale, I released it, and lo and behold, the Premier still had his bum in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm telling everybody, oh, I've been waiting for ages. You know, I'm sorry I've put it back. It's because I don't want you to have to, you know, be subject to P Mars's ass. So, you know, I'm sorry about that. And then when it finally broadcast, as soon as it had finished, the premiere finished, and then I went back and checked, and it had actually been edited out. But the actual premiering audience seems to get like an unedited version, whether I like it or not. So I have to keep an eye on that.
Thanks, YouTube.
They're going to win?
Just It's like a thanks YouTube moment.
Well, I did think that. I was like, well, at least if you were watching it on the premiering stream, you got a little bonus, right? PMAR's bumhole.
Oh, God. Ranty will go back and watch it.
You can't. It's edited out now. So if you watch it after the fact, after the premiering stream, which is akin to live, it's what they call in TV as live. Well, it's as live with the chat. Well, that's unique in the respect that if you go back after it's finished premiering, you're not going to get that experience again, and you also won't get the the uncut section. It's gone by then.
Yeah. So it's double ass live.
Yeah, you just don't get to have the joy of PMars's bum if you watch it after the premiere.
Exactly. Okay. Jesus.
I went back after editing and looked through a few YouTube videos to see actually, what people can get away with in that regard, and I don't think I actually needed to have edited it out at all. People get away with far worse. I noticed on the X Factor, this like British pop show, you had David Walliams literally getting his bum out on live TV, and he had 2 tattoos on each cheek, and he was showing who's that dude, the little dude that's all pumped up that runs the music industry, Simon Cowell, and he's got his bum right next to Simon Cowell, and it's in full on HD broadcast live. So you're like, well, if David Walliams can get away with pulling his bum out on TV, I'm pretty sure I can get away with PMARS on a little thumbnail for 6 seconds.
When did that happen?
Oh, were you not here, Arwin?
No, your example.
Oh, I don't know. I just did quickly. I just quickly Google search shows his bum as a search to see what came up, to see how how far other people have pushed that exact thing, and mooning on TV is just actually doesn't even seem risque. It's so common, but there we go.
Really? Okay.
But that's just what I
would
saw.
know. I haven't watched TV in a long time.
But me neither. That's why I had to Google search it. I'm like, I don't know what they get away with on TV these days because I haven't got a TV. On the other hand, go on. Sorry.
So did we advertise Ballbusters, or did we just talk about advertising Ballbusters?
There was no Ballbusters advertising done, but you can think of it as though.
Thanks.
No, tomorrow I definitely will, because that's the last opportunity before the shows start going delayed.
Oh goodness gracious, man! So, Ballbusters, Saturday, 2 p.m. U.S. Central Time, 8 p.m. UK time. The Flat Earth Proofs.
Yeah, be here or be sphere.
Miss evidence.
Say again?
Is that the same for evidence, proofs?
They're synonyms.
Thank you.
Found curvature.
On the telly.
On the telly. I was out filming today.
Ranty, I want a fair hearing. I want a fair hearing tomorrow. Because this was all cluster screwed. I want those 2 videos side by side, and I want an appeal to a vote tomorrow.
Oh, appeal to consensus. I see. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I know it's a fallacy. You brought it up first, so I'll roll with.
There was a hey Nathan from the Discord.
That was from me. I have a question. So I don't want to interrupt your guys' flow, but I was talking to someone in the YouTube comments yesterday, and we were talking about the whole container thing. And I was saying that you have to have a barrier between a vacuum and an air pressure system. And at first I said you can't have a gas pressure without a container. But he gave an example, or he gave an example of someone in a room and they poured heavier gas into a container without a top. And since there was a gas pressure in it, that meant it was gas pressure without a container. But I said, okay, well, there's an atmosphere outside of it, so if the air's heavier, then it's going to press on the 5 sides of the box container, and that creates the pressure, I imagine, because it's heavier than the air around it. So I had to I felt like I had to change my point, and I was like, you need to show a localized gas pressure inside of a vacuum. Is that a correct statement to make?
Yes. Gas
No.
pressure next to a vacuum.
Hold on.
No. So, no. The antecedent to have pressure will always be a container, and the open top container is still a container, and you actually gave a pretty concise debunking of the assertion based on atmospheric pressure, and your claim is correct. However, their claim, it would still fall, like everything, within the boundaries of entropy. So if they take their sulfur hexafluoride in a fishbowl and leave it for 20 minutes, probably less, probably 5, eventually the gas would fill the space. It would dissipate.
Right.
But they do it with a lid on, so they pump the sulfur hexafluoride from a container into a container with a lid so it doesn't fill the space, and then they leave it to settle, and as you rightly point out, it forms part of the pressure gradient and is the most dense, therefore at the bottom. Shock horror. But it's slightly levitated because it's on a table. Well, yeah, as soon as they remove the lid, those gas particles still want to go in all directions and are being interacted with a more active pressure above that's bashing into it and dissipating it. Now, because it's considerably more dense, that effect may be much slower than if it was, I don't know, a slightly heavier than air gas that I could name. I just can't off the top of my head. But the fact that it's more dense will just mean that effect of entropy will take a slightly longer period. But the container having a open top is the same example as, say, a tyre with a screw in it. There's a hole that the gas can escape through if it hits that rather than the walls of the container. Well, it's the same for the sulfur hexafluoride. It can either hit the sides or the top, where there's nothing to stop it from dissipating into the rest of the gas that is around it. And that's precisely what would happen over a given period of time. In other words, entropy still holds true, even for that example. They can slow the effects down for a nice parlour trick, but it doesn't mean that the container isn't absolutely necessary for the parlour trick, the container in that example being an open top container.
Exactly. I also made the point that the atmosphere itself, observably, seems to be contained in some way, shape, or form. So I was like, that's also a container. Is it not?
Well, it's not that it seems to be contained. It's the necessary antecedent for the gas pressure.
Right.
So when the guy earlier said, I go outside, it's like, okay, well, immediately you know there's a container at play then, because there's gas pressure. So you know it's got to be pressing on something.
Yeah, I also made the point that you can't have a vacuum without a container either. So I was like, there has to be a barrier because there has to be air pressure on the outside of the vacuum in order for the vacuum to exist, even though it's man-made. And then there also has to be... Right.
You're correct. Listen, just go back to the Ball Busters. We had a gas pressure presentation. It goes over that sulfur hexafluoride in the presentation, step by step.
Oh, okay, awesome. And well, how do I see the show while it's going on, or how do I see what's on screen? Is that some link that you guys have?
Oh, in Discord. If the show's in the after show, you just can't. You can't go to the live stream because there isn't one, unfortunately. Okay. So in the last couple of shows, what we've been doing is just sharing stills, because that's about as good as it gets currently in Discord. There is a very clunky way of sharing screens, but typically it only works with a small handful of people, and it's not very reliable, unfortunately. That may change with time. Like Skype, you just click a button and it screen shares. Hopefully Discord will get that with time. It doesn't have it at the moment.
Right. I don't want to dominate the conversation, but I did have another question.
Just before you do, there was one other point.
Sure.
When you talked about the vacuum needing a container, yeah, your assertion was correct, and that's fine. But why were you discussing a vacuum? Before you answer, the reason for me stating that is because it sounds like, and I don't want to automatically assume, but it sounds like you're into begging the question of a sky vacuum when having that argument. That's the only typical reason for discussing what a vacuum may or may not do. Am I correct?
Am I arguing for the point?
No, what I'm saying is, was the vacuum being discussed because it's being discussed in context of a sky vacuum or outer space?
Right. So I was talking to someone who thinks that it's okay to have no container and still have gas pressure and a vacuum next to each other. So I was trying to say that both a vacuum and gas pressure without a container they're both ridiculous. So how could they both be next to each other without a container?
Perfectly reasonable. I was wrong. Okay, my assumption was incorrect. What was your second question?
No, it's totally fine. I was just like, they're both equally ridiculous. There isn't a vacuum in nature. We have to create it, and by creating it, we still just displace the air, the atmosphere. So where, how is that displacement going on without the barrier and without a machine to facilitate that interaction?
You got it. It was a key statement in there. We create it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. I was like, you need a machine to displace the atmosphere outside of the container, and we haven't even created a complete vacuum anyways.
Yeah, it's a really good point.
Yeah.
You can't create the vacuum unless you separate it from the gas pressure, and you can't have the gas pressure without a container. Pretty simple.
Can't have a vacuum without a container. So it goes on. Excellent point.
But he thought he literally he tried to make my argument for me, which was kind of the issue I had, because he was like, that's not even the argument. You're such an idiot. And I was like, that he was saying, they're talking about there can't be a gas pressure without a container. They're not saying you can't have a vacuum without a container, and all of this stuff. And I was like, no, you're not seeing the point. They're both ridiculous. So how would they be able to exist at all? How would a vacuum ever be able to exist without a container? So is there a container around the universe? Is that what you're saying? And we live inside of a container and there's a machine on the outside of it displacing, but then that machine would also suck out all the atmospheres of everything else. So it's a ridiculous thing.
It is part of their rhetoric that I don't understand when they describe the enormity of space, because they do give it a specific volume for the mathematics, but it's also claimed to be ever expanding. So I don't really understand that. Maybe, I don't know.
Right.
Do you I hate to do this to you, John. Any chance you can unpack that double talk?
I'm eating breakfast. 1 second.
No, that's fair enough. It probably is just as nonsensical as my description of how they get it to come to pass.
No,
like
it's doublespeak.
Yeah, it's just
no. You're right. It's doublespeak because they say the volume of the universe in their narrative is 3.58 times 10 to the negative 80th cubic meters. So it's pretty friggin' big. And you're right. They're saying it's expanding. So that number would continuously be getting bigger, right?
Yeah, and so would the need for the displacement would become larger too.
Yeah, what's it expanding into is my question.
Exactly.
Not only that, wouldn't it cause fluctuations? Although maybe that's my misunderstanding of the law. If the container's getting bigger, then presumably the overall measurement of the vacuum itself, so 10 to the minus 17 torr, that value would get increasingly larger as the capacity increases, right?
Yes.
So that's also on a sliding scale then. Okay, lovely.
Well, so wait a second. Wouldn't also the atmosphere on Earth become less and less pressurized?
Well, no.
Because if all of space is expanding, wouldn't that mean that the pressure would slowly over time become more of a gradient, or more expanded of a gradient, and we would lose pressure?
No, not at all. Well, yes, but no. So in the first instance, if the sky was a vacuum, now, immediately, we would be at 10 to the minus 17 torr. What they claim it would reach equilibrium just pretty much instantaneously. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with that. That doesn't get aired enough, really. You know, we have said it a few times, but that's the point. We'd be at 10 to the minus 17 torr at sea level because the gas would fill the space, right? That's the consequence. So from that point, you're then correct. Would that value continue to ever go up? Yeah, it would, because according to them, it's increasingly expanding. So I only know that just because I got clarity 30 seconds ago. No credit at all to me.
Yeah, that would also make the argument less and less conceivable, even though it's already not conceivable to have the vacuum. It would make it even more so because the vacuum would become stronger. Is that correct? Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, so once we reached equilibrium, so to speak, 10 to the minus 17 torr at sea level, from there on in, if the universe is ever increasing in volume, then that value is going to constantly increase. So you're going to have that, but that's true everywhere, according to the narrative, not just on the surface of one particular rock floating through a sky vacuum. It'd be true for everything.
What was your next question?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, I really don't want to try and control the conversation, but that's, it's fine. No,
go ahead.
The picture you were talking about, where they squished the edge or whatever it was and tried to accentuate it. So did they see like a little bit of like a curve, and then they just squished it to make it more noticeable? Is that what they did, or did they do something else? I didn't understand.
You could do it with any camera. So in the example that Jaron did, he just took a picture of his countertop and then squished that. And obviously it's a flat and level countertop, you would assume, unless he's got really bodgy builders, but I doubt it. It looked pretty square to me. Anyway, he squashed that down and you see a pronounced curve in it. He does it with various different things. So it wouldn't matter, as we detailed earlier. It's the way the picture's created is with the lens, so you're never going to get away from that. You're going to get that to a certain extent, and you're just exaggerating that effect by squashing it down to 95% the size on that axis. So yeah, it did show a curve, but so would anything.
Right, he was just making the other pictures seem ridiculous.
Yeah, well, he's saying there's curvature. That was why they gloated so much.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that's my last question. So, yeah, thanks for answering. Talking to me about it. This is my first time on the panel. So.
What's your name? Fenris Wolf.
Yes.
Pleasure to talk to you. Anybody else got anything to add, or we'll round out the after show?
The Earth is flat.
I found curvature.
Well, we'll find out from Ranty in a moment, because this this is definitely going to be good. But check out Ballbusters, 10 p.m. 8 p.m. UK time and 2 p.m. Central time on Saturday. Be here or be Sphere. So Ranty, where is it? I can't even begin to imagine that you've seen curvature.
I've seen curvature this morning, Nathan.
Okay, let's have a look.
Need to watch this for a minute or so, and what we're going to see is well, what can you see here behind the curve, innit?
Cool.
Are they picking up cockles or something? What are they doing?
They're digging for sand. Digging for sand.
Don't have to dig very far.
Hey?
Nothing. they're picking up sand. Okay.
Picking up sand. Obviously, I think they're going to sell it. And as you can see, the bucket goes behind the curvature of the Earth.
So it does.
Look at that. And look. They're behind the curve as well.
Oh my God. This Earth is much smaller than we had ever realized.
They're giants, right? They're as big as the Digger.
Yeah, rewind that. We want to see that again.
Maybe that crane is just very, very big.
Here we go.
Oh no, watch out, she's gonna run into it oh.
Wow, those people are stretching from above. Maybe they're looming.
But the important thing to see here, guys, is not this. It's the wind turbines behind. Because these wind turbines are... The nearest one is 20 miles away. The very nearest one is 20 miles.
What's up, boss?
So regardless of the effect of the obstruction at the bottom, you've got something on the same plane with half of its bottom missing. It's essentially looming above the perceived horizon. But they're 20 miles away, so they're on the same plane. Makes no odds what's being blocked at the bottom in this what do you call this band? What can we call the band?
An optical slant?
No, well, not necessarily. It could be, but you know, it could just be.
Well, it is. It's optical, isn't it?
It is optical, but it's when you say slant, I know what you mean by that. You're talking about what you used to refer to as the first disappearance point or the first vanishing point. But it could, you know, it could be the diffraction. But on the other hand, this could purely be atmospheric. We have no idea. I can't hold.
What I didn't necessarily claim it is.
It could be.
I don't claim a cause. It's just the description of an optical phenomena.
Very wise. I agree. It could be absolutely correct. But the point that Ranty's made very concisely, and we've now hijacked, is that regardless of what's happening on this 2-inch band, the stuff in the distance is on the same plane. It's much, much, much further away. Obviously, it's smaller. You wouldn't expect it not to be, but it's clearly on the same plane. So this is a great little example from... Ranty's getting good at his craft, right? So he's leading his audience with a trick and then presenting the reality. This stuff's much, much further away on the same plane. It's not dropping over any curve. There's just crazy effects that he sees in lots of other instances at that midpoint where the sky appears to meet the ground, claimed to be a leading edge of a sphere. Well, it makes no difference. The stuff in the distance is still on the exact same plane, even though Ranty's beautifully led us and now the audience in terms of what it appears when you first see that digger digging over the other side of the curve of the earth, as Ranty puts it. Beautiful example, Ranty. You're getting really good. I've got to say.
Yeah. It was real subtle. Do you say anything over the video, or is it just a video?
Oh no, I'm speaking on it, but I mean, I've got loads of this from this morning. I've literally just finished uploading them. I've only looked through a couple of them. But on this is the third one. I think it's at 2:22 there, somewhere about here. We'll see a bird fly in a minute behind all this crazy atmospherics. Where is this bird?
It actually just did it just as you press play.
That is totally surreal, man.
And well, what happens is this bird flies in. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. So it's going to come through. There it is. It's behind it. Can you see it? I'm following it. I'm tracking it. Can you see it's behind that crazy atmosphere?
I see.
There.
Looks like it's in the middle of a dust storm or something.
Yeah, exactly. But it's what this dust storm is. This dust storm or whatever it is, it's just atmospheric blockage. It's just because I'm looking in a different direction. I'm actually looking... Where am I looking now? So I'm looking sort of...
Well, it matches the color of way below. So maybe it's like a partial reflection? I don't know.
Well, you see how it tapers off and it sort of like goes between sky color and sand color. So it's either sky color or sand color. In this part, you can see it perfectly. It's half and half. When we go back, it's more sandy colored, but it's still doing the same thing. You know, that bird is still behind it. If I just play it from there, you'll see the bird come in. Here we go. So it's still behind it. It's behind it. And it's what I've been saying all along, that this blockage, this atmospheric blockage, can you see the turbines in the distance? Yes. Turbines in the distance. And the stems, so the stems, will be where that bird has just flown through. So if you imagine you're looking at this wind turbine in the back, oh, where's the stem gone? Oh, hang about, wait a minute. There's the bird flying through this blockage. And then you know where the actual real floor is, which is down here. And then you can scale it, and you know that you're looking all of the turbine.
It's like there's a wall of illusion in front of it.
Yeah,
but it's only working partially.
Well, I almost said that earlier. I almost said circle of confusion, one of those terms we used 12, 18 months ago, when we didn't really know how to describe this. But in reality, now that we know that we're talking about this particular band where the sky appears to meet the ground, the diffraction limit, whatever you want to describe it as, but in reality, the stuff that you've got a wider angle to, above and below, is the stuff that you can actually measure. For example, the turbines. They are on the same plane as the observer. That's obvious and observable. And it's the same for everything in the picture. The whatever that was, oil rig, all the same. It's all on the same plane. Nothing's disappearing. The problem we have is that when we used to get into these arguments much more often with the globe heads, they direct our attention to that band because it's reified into the leading edge of a sphere, even though it's an arbitrary position assigned as the horizon, which is actually just an apparent position where, as I say, the sky meets the ground, but you get all of this interference. It's also where your most limited angle is, the vanishing point, the diffraction limit, the point where you're going to have things disappear from bottom up purely through optics. Now that's not necessarily going to be the case in every single picture because you're dealing with many factors. But ultimately, in almost all of the examples that you can see things like this, if you pretty much ignore the band that's confusing, circle of confusion if you will, everything above and below it falls perfectly in line with perspective and can be quantified because it's outside of the angle that's going to cause you to not be able to discern it or measure it or distinguish what it is in the first instance. So yeah, we need to take our eyes away from it. It's because Ranty's focused on it intently, what they're calling the curve, and how it moves, it changes, it's not just varied by raising and lowering your position as they would claim in geometric mathematics. We're talking about something that's got a multitude of different reasons for why it becomes distorted in this 2-inch band. We're not talking about huge, massive amounts here. We're talking about what is the basic, you know, the tiniest of tiny angle, zoomed in on with a super zoom camera, and then focused in on intently by globeheads who claim it's the leading edge of a sphere, when there isn't even a bloody edge in this example. You've got about 1 million different lines. Which one are we talking about that's the edge of your sphere when you reify it with geometry? Well, you can't use it for anything particularly useful. It is, as, you know, I think it was Arwin saying, you know, it's like the circle of confusion.
Hey, Nathan, can you go into Master Bees and pull up... Oh, is Ranty done? I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, if you're still playing the video, you guys can carry on, but I'm just going to literally just repeat this. The nearest turbine is 20 miles away. The very nearest one. The rest are all further beyond that. More than 20 miles away. 21, 22, 23 miles away. This is off the sands at St. Anne's.
It's a great video. I like it. I think the less you say, the better this video will be. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. Look at that. Alright, hold on. Just change the camera position. Can you rewind it slightly? Because that wasn't on camera.
Yeah, I've got loads of good stuff like that, Nathan. Trust me. Believe you me. I start focusing in on dogs bouncing in and out of this band. A truck goes behind it, in front of it, and it really freaks me out. Because the optics at play are just crazy. Let me just see if I can...
On the audio for the recording, are you all excited?
Oh, me? Yeah. Yeah, I was loving it. Oh, look at this. Watch this truck.
Can't quite... Unfortunately, the stupid boxes are in the way on the Hangout screen. Oh, there we go. You can just about make it out. That cool.
Like it's riding a mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
It looks like they're gonna. Yeah, it looks like he's about to run over those humans.
I can certainly say that beyond that point, where this miraging starts happening, it's really difficult to intuitively make out where things really are in comparison to one another, because there is an angular size change, but as for the height compared to one another, it's not much off. Henceforth, the straight line of sight beyond the optical slant. Very confusing.
Oh, the dog's gone. The dog's vanished. Did you see that? Oh, there it is, reappeared.
Yeah, he vanished.
Just follow that dog.
Cool.
Just follow this dog as it runs. Here we go. Follow this dog, this black dog. He almost goes out of shot. Ready? Oh, he's gone. Where's he gone?
Gone.
Return, dog. Oh, there it is. And he'll do it again. Go on. Oh, he's gone. Oh, he's back.
And you've got stuff like this, it does make you wonder why some of the stuff that we have to reference on Wiki or whatever else that's about miraging, they're crap. You know, by comparison to this, which is glorious. You know, live examples, super zoomed in right into this area. This is glorious. We get pictures of, you know, boat or something from the examples on Wiki, and it's just it just totally pales in comparison to this.
Ranty, how high was your camera set?
Where I was like a tripod of 4 feet. So it was
very nice.
It was nicely elevated. Normally I'm lower than that, but this was at about, yeah, it was 4 feet. The tripod was set to. Oh, and he's gone again. Where's the doggy?
All right, is Ranty done hogging the show?
Oh, there he is. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, is this going to be an ongoing thing between you and Ranty?
Where's the doggy? Oh, he's gone. He's gone again. Where's the doggy gone? Where's the doggy gone?
Look at his dog.
Right, I'll take some charge. Okay, so you said to go to Discord. I'm in Master B. I mean,
yeah, go to Master B. 10th man posted a photo. Did you see it right at the bottom down
there? 1535 with that
yes.
heart. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you pull that up?
Yeah. You want me to stick it on screen for the audience?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, John, he might be hogging the show, but you're dogging Ranty.
Yeah, that's a really nice picture. Looks like the Rocky Mountains, if I'm not mistaken. 10th, this is your picture. Hello?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I pulled it up on the quick search on Google.
Can anybody tell me what the problem is here with the ball-tard spinning space monkey religion?
There's several, but there's a reflection only possible on a flat level surface.
That's a problem, isn't it? Boy, I'd like to get a distance from that mountain to where that whoever stand. Did you take this 10th?
No, I just pulled it off Google. I wanted to go to the flat shelf argument and show that water is flat, but the surrounding area could be different.
Yeah, I'd like to get a distance. That's not going to happen, though. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to point something out here with a specular reflection, right? If that was a curved surface, that water, you're not getting that specular reflection, folks.
Right.
So it's hidden in plain sight.
Or as
your icon. Your icon is better for that. The Bolivian salt flats is even bigger.
Yeah, but I can't get any good distance measurements off the photo. You know what I'm saying?
The photo is the measurement, isn't it? Just presuppose whatever you're trying to prove and say the photo itself is the measurement.
Oh, yeah, the photo's the measurement. Yeah, I heard that.
Well, we got dogs flying in Ranty's pictures.
Wait, the photograph is the measurement? Was that Wiggles?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Keep giving us great quotes, ballers. You guys sound awesome.
What John just said, it's hiding in plain sight. I would prefer to phrase it obviously and observably flat.
That's the wrong phrase in there.
Why is that?
No, it's not the wrong phrase, Don. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's obvious and observable.
Obviously flat. Obviously is not the right word.
That's exactly the right word. Are you kidding?
To be fair, he didn't see the picture we just had on. That's fair criticism. If you can't see the picture we're showing with a reflection of a mountain in it, then, you know, any chance you can pop that picture in Discord, QE?
Let me see. 10th, are you in Discord?
No, I'm not.
I'm in Discord.
Yeah, I'll put it in there.
What do you need?
I'll put it in there. Hold on.
There you go. Have a quick look at it, Dawn, and then level your criticism afterwards. That'd be brilliant. My apologies that I haven't got it into the Discord server.
So that you're using that phrase just on one image? or for the whole Earth in general?
I just said wait till you see it.
Oh, I see
It's
it
in
now.
there.
Obviously flat Earth from that one photo of a lake and a mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, because of the reflection. It's a reflection like a mirror, not a reflection of a curved surface.
Well, it's very slightly curved, isn't it? Over a long
I'd like
distance?
to know, Dawn, why is it not obvious, Dawn? Where have you experienced the globe
You can't see
in
enough of
your
it. You can't
reality?
see enough of it for it.
The reflection is not warped.
I just want to point out what's just happened. It's too subtle. It slipped everyone by too quickly. So what Dawn did was looked at that picture and his reaction was, well, it's slightly curving, isn't it? In other words, even though he can see a reflection of the mountain, his fundamentalist religious belief that it's curving still prevails. You see, that's what actually happened. That was his actual reaction to it. But it is curving. No, it's not, Dawn.
Well, okay.
That's the point.
Maybe it's slightly curving, so the reflection still looks flat. That was what I meant.
Maybe because you've got a fundy belief that it's curving, but it's not.
Well,
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a reflection. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a reflection. Yeah, it's always going to be the same with you, isn't it, Dawn? When it gets to the point that demolishes your fundy belief, you'll talk over it. There's a reflection there. Yeah, it's going to be 5 more times of Dawn getting triggered, not letting me demolish the point that he's just made, isn't it? Just let me get to the end of the sentence, Dawn. I know it's troubling when you've asserted a fundamentalist religious belief that it is curving.
I'm just telling you used the
there
wrong
he goes.
phrasing,
He's
that's all.
not
I'm
going to let me
making
do
a
it,
point.
is he? Why did I take him off mute? All it meant was I would never ever get to make another point again ever, because Dawn's going to talk over every single attempt. Now that's a preamble, Dawn. It doesn't mean that that's your cue to talk. I know basic conversation skills are beyond you. That was called a preamble. Not the point that I'm pointing out that you haven't let me make yet. So don't interrupt while I make it, or attempt to make it, for a 6th time. The point being, Dawn, that no, by definition there's a reflection. That's not conducive with your fundamentalist belief that it's curving. So just holding on to that fundamentalist religious belief in the face of something that makes it demonstrably flat is simply your fundamentalist religious belief getting the better of you. Okay?
Okay. So seeing a reflection means you think the whole Earth is obviously flat.
Yes.
No, the Earth looking obviously flat is what makes it obviously flat.
Yes, that's why I
Not
put the
from this
word
one photo.
observably in there. Obviously and observably flat.
Dawn, seriously, I'd like to know, in your reality, where have you experienced a ball?
Well, a ball is a child's toy, and so obviously I had a few balls as a child.
A sphere. The globe.
Yeah, that's a shape, a globe. Well, I live on
Where
one.
have you experienced? Yeah, you
live
live
on
on it.
something
Where have you
that I think is
experienced
small.
that?
I feel like I'm experiencing it every time I see a horizon and a sunset.
You feel like you're experiencing it.
Well, yeah, I'd call it experiencing. You don't have to agree that I am experiencing it, but
that's what you feel.
God.
Experience is
Why
a
don't you get back to
subjective,
the
right?
photo? We don't want to
Yeah,
know
to me
about
that-
your feelings. Can't you understand this photo and the specular reflection? You see the point?
It's a lovely photo. I just don't think that means the whole Earth is obviously flat, and I don't think that's enough to say it's observably flat either. It's just
Well,
a nice reflection in a lake. You can get that on a globe.
But you can show us.
Before
it's
you
there. I'm
challenge
using
him
the
to
same photo
before
as
you
you
challenge him to
as
show
evidence
you,
for a globe.
you can't, Dawn. You can't achieve a reflection in that manner. You're just wrong. Like I said, it's your fundamentalist religious belief that you've just decided that you waking up in the morning is experiencing being part of your fundamentalist belief. It isn't. And this is absolutely contrary to your religious belief because of the reflection. But you haven't given a rebuttal to that.
Well, okay. My rebuttal is that Earth's so big that the curve on the lake is so slight, and there's also a curve in the mountain. We're so small, we end up seeing it look like a flat reflection.
That's simply not true. Your mathematics would dictate that it's 8 inches per mile squaring the mile. Shout out to who was
Still
it
get
yesterday?
nice reflections.
Who was
Don't,
it?
what? I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say, who was it yesterday that it was 8 inches squared? What was it? He said 8 inches squared of squared miles.
Yeah, Sean.
That was Jones.
G.
I love when that
Sean
happens.
G.
Yeah,
You utter
Sean
retard.
G.
So yeah, it's not just so small, Dawn. We argue all the time about the fact that you're supposed to be able to measure it. Do we not need mentioned soundly? so soundly's showing
slight.
only a 17-mile stretch. Now I could be wrong, but this looks more than that.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
but looking at over a curve away from you and looking at the curve left to right is two different things.
Why? It's supposed to be curved in all directions.
Exactly.
No, yeah, but it's still
No,
different
no.
looking over it than across it.
So that's even worse.
No.
So this should be curving both away from us and left to right. In fact, in all directions, because it's supposed to be a sphere. But
It
it's
is,
not.
but we can't
It's
see it in
actually
all
demonstrating a
directions,
perfect reflection, requiring it to be flat. Even though, arguably, the lens has actually shown slight curvature in this. But the reflection says otherwise, Dawn.
Yeah, reflections looking flat does not mean a flat Earth. It just doesn't.
Yeah, the
Does it
Earth
mean
not
not
having
flat
actual
Earth, then?
curvature.
No, a reflection's not enough to go on to determine the
what
shape
makes
of
it
Earth.
Well, it doesn't help your argument now, does it?
my point is,
Yeah,
that
that's
photo
real
does
funny.
not
You
make
don't
Earth
know.
obviously
Why don't you
flat.
look up specular reflections?
That's all I'm
and
saying.
Let's discuss that. Right.
Hold on. To his credit, to his credit, Dawn will actually comply with these sorts of things. I mean, I don't think he's unwilling to learn this stuff. So, did you hear what John asked you to look up? Maybe you can do that live. We've got about 10 minutes left, maybe a bit less.
I didn't know, so I called
Go
the end
ahead,
of him
John.
saying it.
He couldn't hear me because he was talking.
Yep.
Yeah. So look up specular reflection and get back with us.
Okay.
Can I
You don't
chime
have-
in here for just a second?
You can. It'll
Sure.
give Dawn time to look it up before we round out the after show. Go ahead.
Outstanding. So, whenever I hear these ball-believing religiotards talk about a sunset, I usually just want to put him over to DITRH's video where he has a drone in midair, looking at the sun, disappearing, not setting, disappearing. You ever seen that, Dawn?
I have seen that one.
It vanishes. It vanishes. Yeah, and it's just because he's looking not over the deck. He's above the deck.
I think he might be adjusting the focus on that, actually.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
What makes you say that?
I think that's how you achieve the effect.
Did you see the focus around the sun diminish as well?
I don't know. I mean, I'll give you that's a phenomena that looks different to a normal sunset. I'll give you that.
Well, it's a vantage that you can get if you spend the money on a drone, right?
Got a drone, yeah.
Is there any chance?
Yeah, man.
Go ahead, Chocolate. I'm hoping that someone else other than Dawn, because I'm hoping you'll look up specular reflections before the end of the show.
On screen, hang on.
Well, I was just going to ask if sunsets are caused because we're on a ball spinning away from the sun, should that ever happen? Should the sun ever just fade out the way it did in that video?
We should call it sun fade.
I don't know exactly how he's done it, but I think he's done it somehow. I mean, that doesn't usually happen, does it?
He just raised a drone.
Does anybody have a link to this?
DITRH's channel. Got a few
Yeah,
videos
you can catch
up there
two
of the
sunsets
sun just disappearing.
If you go upwards in a drone, you can catch the sunset again, I think. I'll do it one day.
I put an image in Discord.
Not talking about sunset. Talking about sun fade. Yeah?
Now look at
sun fade. We can't trust it though if it's just one observation by one person in one location, can we? Like,
Yeah, you
like
keep
Sandy,
on
we have-
saying this. That's because it's just one.
Yeah,
That-
same as Sandy.
what-
That's what you guys say about Sandy, isn't it?
What is? Yeah, but that's not just one from Soundly. If you show an exception to the rule or a false positive, the whole thing collapses. You understand that, right?
Right. So, like, soundly collapses flat Earth, then.
How does he do that?
Well, that's the false positive, right? The exception
does
to
he
the
do
rule
that?
of it being totally flat over lakes and oceans.
Totally flat. How does he do that? Which soundly image are you talking about? The causeway, the transmission towers? Which one?
Future train.
I'm saying I'm gonna use the soundly argument you use against soundly against Earth's sun video. It's one man, one location, one effect. I don't trust him.
Hey, John, I just put 2 more pictures in Master B, so it won't be just one picture.
Don, aren't you like a helicopter pilot or something? Or is that somebody else?
What?
No, I fly a little 5-inch drone for fun.
Okay.
I'm looking up specular reflection, guys. I might have to watch one of those Science for Idiots YouTube videos to understand it. Cause it
Okay, just look it up and read what it says. You can read, right? Sure, Wiki will have a reasonably concise summary in the first paragraph.
Okay, diffuse reflection. Oh, this. There's 2 types mentioned together. Just diffuse reflection is the reflection of light or other waves or particles from a surface such that a ray incident on the surface is scattered at many angles rather than at just one angle, as in the case of specular reflection.
From just one angle, Dawn. I think you've got just one angle on a curved surface.
I don't know how that works. If I'm going to guess, I'm going to say it counts as the reflection, yeah, because it's so big.
That's whistling past the question I just asked, and you gave an answer to.
I don't know. I think it's curved on such a large scale that.
Yeah, you're just going to repeat the same rebuttal, non-rebuttal we heard the first time, and I said you've just read a definition that made it clear that that wouldn't be possible on a curved surface by definition. And what you're just saying that even though that's not possible by definition, you just still think it's curved anyway. Wow, a fundy.
Hey, there's a couple better ones. If you go to Master B, Nathan, go ahead and pull those couple pictures up. They're really good.
It's just interesting, Don, that when we actually check the globe's measurements, you guys keep backtracking. It's 8 inches per mile square. Oh, no, you're not doing that right. Well, here's the specular reflection. No, that's not right either. When are you going to just admit what you see?
No, but you know what's right? Squishing. That's
Well,
right.
they like
We could.
squishing. They love squishing.
Yeah.
But by guessing, I didn't manage to let you trick me on specular reflection. It is possible on curved surfaces. So another lie by you guys, and I didn't manage to fall for it. Well done, Don.
Oh, really? It's specular reflections on a curved surface? Really? Where'd you read that at?
I just left the foot say it in the Discord chat, and I trust him over you guys. So.
Oh, who did?
No, Dawn. You've just read a definition, and you're saying that your confirmation bias. Yeah, I was in the middle of a sentence. Of course, that means that Dawn's got to interrupt it. So your confirmation bias is so strong that having just read a definition, you would trust a random stranger in a Discord chat over a definition you personally searched out and read out. Okay.
But you changed the definition after I read it out and added your extra bits, didn't you?
No. I asked a question based on the definition. Would a single angle be possible? Of course, he's going to rumpus the question that's going to get repeated. Would a single angle be possible across a curved surface, Dawn? That's a question. That's what I asked. I didn't change the definition. I asked a question based on what you read out.
Don, 1 second. We're not saying that you can't get a reflection off a curved surface.
That's what Nathan's saying.
Oh my God.
That's what he said.
Have you ever seen a convex? I'm laughing with you, John. This is crazy, this guy.
Have you ever seen a convex mirror? You know, when you go into Walmart, right, or one of those stores, you look up, they have those big mirrors that are convex, and they show, a small mirror could show a large area. You could still get reflections off that surface. That's not the argument, son.
Why did Nathan make that argument then?
We're crying out loud, sir.
Why would I be saying he did if he didn't?
Maybe because
let me just try it a different way with Dawn. He didn't get your example. You know, when you go to the fun house, Dawn.
Yep.
You know, the mirrors, hall of mirrors, they're all wavy.
Yeah.
And you look fat at the bottom and stretched at the top.
Yeah.
Now, the picture that we presented of the mountain, did it do that? Or was it a perfect mirror reflection in the same proportions? Which one was it? Was it curved with it distorted? Or is it a perfect reflection? Which one did we show you?
It appears pretty perfect to me.
Really? So given that it's 8 inches per mile squared on your reification fallacy, how would that be possible, Dawn? Because it is curved and would distort, but it isn't.
Well, it's really, really big, so we don't see the distortion from right close to it.
Nathan, I put their example in. Hold on a second. Hey, Nathan, I sent that example to you in our chat. Can you pull that up?
When you say our chat on Skype?
Yeah, on Skype. That's the picture that.
I've got the 10th man. I've got 10th Man Rising a different mountain picture with a perfect reflection.
Yeah, I see that, but I gave you Dawn's argument is the picture that I posted in our chat.
Okie dokie.
So you're arguing it can't be specular because it looks perfect.
What do you mean by our chat?
In the Skype chat.
Yeah. What's Master B? You? Me? What?
You and me. No, not in Master B. I could put it in Master B, but I didn't. I put it under you and me.
Okay.
Don, what's a reflection in your opinion or your definition? What's a reflection?
I don't know the actual definition for that.
Yeah.
All with a reflection on it.
Yeah, it's a reflection. You win.
So what is your argument then? Because it looks perfect, it can't be specular.
Can't be.
Is that what you're arguing?
Read the definition again, Dawn.
I'm looking at the whole Wikipedia for specular, and they use a globe literally.
You already read it once.
Yeah, but I just looked at the wiki page from Discord again, and they use a sphere in the example.
Nathan, I thought your example of the funhouse was absolutely perfect. That's the point.
But if you're a germ on the funhouse mirror, could you tell the reflections were curved, or would it look perfect?
Are you on medication?
If you were a germ, would you know what a reflection is?
Sometimes. You know what I mean? A human with eyes the size of a germ. Maybe it would look perfect, even though it's wobbly.
Should I just answer him? Yeah, it would look distorted to a germ. Disprove me.
You can do the thought experiment, can't you? And you could do a few tests in your shed.
And I've done it, and it looked curved. It looked distorted. You failed. Oh well.
This has deeper ramifications, Dawn, into your little moon reflecting the sun's rays. Are you following me here?
No.
Well, you see, if the moon is a sphere with a rough surface, it cannot uniformly reflect the sun's light. When you walk outside and you're in the moonlight, right? You see the moonlight is uniformly reflecting everything within your vicinity. That is impossible with a sphere or a convex object. This is 60 level optics. And it
Why does
speaks
it look
to
like
our
a convex object then?
it speaks to our example here indirectly of a specular reflection.
Whatever's it doing looking like a convex hemisphere then if it's not a convex sphere?
What is
weird,
it
isn't
doing? Looking like?
Yeah, what's it doing? Looking like that? Trying to trick us or something?
Trying to
think
trick
we have
us.
spheres above our head when actually we have lies.
Spheres. You can see spheres in celestial when you're looking at the celestial objects, can you? Hello.
I think you can see enough to see that they're spheres. Yeah.
Oh, really? Well, that's.
Well, in your
That's
opinion, yeah. In everyone else's opinion, there's definitely spheres in the sky.
That's impossible.
They've talked about it for thousands of years back through history.
You can't see depth, son, in celestial objects.
You can with a telescope.
Oh, you can.
I can see depth on the moon with my eyes as well.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Great. That's a great argument.
So your eyes could see 240,000 miles out?
I think so, yeah.
Wow, the moon must be either really close or your eyes must be better than all of ours.
Well, you see the moon as well, right? You just disagree about how far it is.
Well, I know one thing. I have a vanishing point when I'm on this terra firma, but when I look up, I'm supposed to have some kind of extra zoom powers.
I wonder why that is. I wonder why you have a vanishing
minute
point on the
ago,
surface
you wanted
of a
to do a
sphere.
thought experiment and said germs have thoughts.
Okay, from Cornell.edu, since we totally lack depth perception when we look at the night sky, it is impossible to tell the distance to stars just by looking at them. 1 second. This is from Astro. I can't make it out. You don't notice any depth to the night sky because your depth perception only works for a distance of about 6 meters or 20 feet. Let's see what that citation is. 1 second.
That was beautiful. I'm looking at a picture of Jupiter now, and I can see the storm stripes curving around it. So that's enough for me to know it's a sphere. We're going to call that depth, just to be annoying.
Is that your picture?
No, it's not mine. Could even be NASA, I don't know. Don't care.
Then it's garbage.
It's all gone very quiet. Did I step away at a bad moment?
No, I'm just showing an obvious heavenly sphere of Jupiter with the obvious striped storms curving around it so that we can know it's a sphere in the sky.
And that's a real picture?
Yep.
Is it? Go ahead and send the source file.
It might be one of those composites from a few pictures of Jupiter.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Yeah, fine for me. Still looks like a sphere. Just helps to get better colors when you do the composite thing.
I already
Layers.
I just told you that you can't see. Well, I don't even know why I need citation for this. This is like, well, duh, right? You can't see depth with celestial objects, son.
Well, I'm looking at a picture now, and it looks like there's depth there.
Oh, it looks like there's depth there, but we're gonna need the source file.
Oh, you've seen pictures of Jupiter before.
Now I need the source file because I'm gonna evaluate it
Or you could buy a telescope and a camera.
empirically. We're not just gonna say it's bullshit. We're gonna evaluate it empirically.
All right. Send me the source file for your obviously flat Earth observation with the mountains and the lake.
10th?
Yeah.
Or did you get it off Google Images?
No, I got it from 10th Man.
Yeah, I said clearly, I typed in reflections, mountain, lake, and I saw tons of pictures. So that's where I got it. But you know what? I could go to the mountains on the weekend if you were worth it and take the same picture, but you're not worth it because you're not on.
Yeah,
it.
everyone sees these pictures, right? We've all
I've
seen these specular
pictures. I've
reflections.
been to the mountains. I've seen exactly that in different mountains and where I live. So it validates my previous experience physically seeing it myself. It doesn't offset what I've seen before. Let's put it that way.
We kind of brushed past the moon reflection part. What's your answer to that, Don?
I think the moon does a very good job at reflecting the sun for us. It's beautiful.
I
that's what it does.
already demonstrated or showed you that that's impossible with 60 level optics.
You just told me it's impossible. You didn't demonstrate anything.
Yeah. Well, I can't demonstrate it here because I'm over
So
here
why
on
did
the
you-
internet.
Why did
Now,
you
this
say
is
that you
just
did?
common sense and 60 level optics, right? You can't get a uniform reflection. The only way you can, if that object is slightly convex or flat, right? And it has to be smooth because that's going to make your case even worse for diffuse reflection. Can you go ahead and read that definition for a diffuse reflection?
The moon can't reflect the sun. It's common sense.
That's correct. If it's convex. If the moon is convex, it can't uniformly reflect the sun's light. Can't do it. It's physically
we
impossible.
think it looks convex, but it's not.
It's physically impossible if the moon is a sphere.
God's lying to us then in the sky, that John. That's
No
fucking
one's
terrible.
lying to you, Don. Except
God's
the
lying to
voices
us.
in your
He
head.
put stuff that look like spheres in the sky, and you're telling me they're not. This is.
I'm
this is
telling
break-
you,
break-
listen closely.
This is a crazy breakthrough.
Okay, I'm going to have to shut you up since you can't stop talking. Listen closely. This is my argument. If the moon is spherical, it cannot uniformly reflect the sun's light. That is my argument. Do you understand?
Yes, I disagree.
This isn't a case of agree or disagree. We're not talking about our favorite running backs or whose favorite color is the best here. We're
Seems we
talking
are.
about the physics of light and reflection.
Well, everyone disagrees with you
spheres,
on
they
how that
create a little
works, so-
hotspot. Where's the hotspot on the moon? When you have a light, just grab any ball and look at it in the sun. You see a hotspot. Where's the hotspot on the moon? I've never seen a hotspot on the moon.
Okay, he bypassed the diffuse reflection. Can you put a diagram up there? Wait a sec. Am I gonna have to do your work for you?
Left to put Scott one, QE, in there. The difference between them.
There's even a bigger problem, Don. When I wake up in the morning and I see the sun rising, going up, whichever way you want to accept it, it doesn't, the angles are off on the moon when it's a quarter moon or a half moon. The whole moon should be lit if it's reflecting, and it's not. The angles tell me it's not working.
You're an
Now,
expert on moon
you
and
can
sun
see that
angles, are
yourself,
you?
right? You can see that yourself, right?
God. I don't trust your experience
No,
of
you wake
sun
up.
and
You
moon
wake up when
angles,
it's a
I'm
quarter
afraid.
moon. You wake up when it's a quarter moon, or a sliver of it is lit from the sun, as you say. And when that sun comes over the horizon, look at the angle of the moon to that sun. It should be lighting up the whole thing, and it's not. So you explain that one for me.
I think that you're not adding
No, don't think. Do
proposed
it.
distances.
No, just
I
do
think
it.
I don't think you're adding the
answer.
proposed
You haven't done it.
distances into your thought experiment or the
No, you haven't
sizes.
done it. I'm asking you to do it and come back. Don't answer now. I don't want you to make a mistake.
I'm happy with my sun movement belief.
Thank you. I have beliefs too, but mine are back with evidence. Where's yours?
But your evidence is the moon angle doesn't look right. I'm not happy with how the shadows are. Jesus.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are saying that the sun is reflecting off of the moon, then you've got to show me why we have moon phases when the angles should be all lit up from the angle. Like a flashlight on something, unless you cover it up, it's going to light the whole thing up. How come it's not lighting the whole thing up?
All changes positions, doesn't it? We change
That's my
position when we're
point. It's the
observing it.
position. It's the angle is the position. It is impossible for the sun to be on my horizon and the moon anywhere, it doesn't matter, and not be lit up.
Well, I'm
Well,
going to
what?
battle by saying flat Earth moon shadows are impossible as well.
Now you're avoiding the so-called test I want you to do. It's called perspective. You're able to see.
Don, I think you're assuming that in flat Earth we think the reason the moon is illuminated is the same as yours in your reification model.
Hey Nathan, I put a couple of diffuse reflections in the chat if you're still around.
Tell me an alternative.
Which chat?
For the moonlight.
Our chat, me and you.
In Skype. Okay, I'll bring him up.
Yeah, in Skype. Sorry about that.
Why does the moon glow then if it's not reflecting the sun?
Invisible three-toed gnomes.
Or just God.
Perhaps it's its own light. Have you thought of that?
Why would they hide that from us though? Why wouldn't they just tell us?
Oh, now you asked a real good question. Why would they hide it from us? What would that
can they gain
prove?
from hiding the moon's light? The moon's
what would that
cause
prove?
of the moon's glow? What can they gain from hiding that?
Who's hiding it? No one's hiding anything. They're just telling you, right?
Okay,
They're just telling you it's reflecting the sun's light. They're not hiding it. You just walk away believing it.
All right. So why would they lie about that? What's the gain?
Why would they lie? Because people lie.
Yeah, but what about this one specifically? Why would they lie about the moon having its own light?
Why do you think?
I don't know. If it's to boost to the heliocentric theory, then they've done some good work with the math to get it all to fit, haven't they?
So you probably don't see this, right? And we're not even talking about the geometry, whether it's curved or convex or flat. We're just looking at a rough surface right here.
Oh, it definitely looks convex.
Right?
Well, it's a depiction. It's a depiction of a rugged surface.
Right, it's a depiction of a rugged surface. You're not getting uniform reflection. The light is reflecting all which ways.
Sorry, the moon is a depiction of a rough surface.
What?
Is that what you're saying? The moon is just a depiction of a rough surface.
Okay, it's because it's in Discord. So what I've got on screen for the audience is a picture of diffuse reflection.
I can put it in Discord. Hold on a second.
Is that the only example you wanted me to present?
I think there's a second one that has specular right beside it. There you go, Don. I put them in Discord for you.
You're claiming
arrows and
it can't be specular reflection on a globe or moon.
That's correct. It can't be a specular reflection off the moon. If the moon is if the moon is convex, a sphere, in other words.
Or a hemisphere.
A hemisphere.
What he's trying to say, Don, is that when you look at the moon, when it's all lit up, the light is equally lit up edge to edge.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the light that it reflects when it comes back to you here on Earth, that the light is uniformly reflected. That is, if you put your arm out in moonlight, there's not spots on your arm that aren't lit up.
The diffuse
uniform
reflection of the
reflection.
moon, we still get constant moonlight.
We observe uniform reflection here on the Earth, right? That is impossible if it's being reflected off the moon and the moon is convex and it has a rough surface. It's physically impossible.
That's even a better argument.
I respect
Thank you,
your
John.
opinion.
It's called angle of incidence. Look up that. So
The moon is a very mysterious thing, I have to agree.
Oh, here we go.
This
It's back to this bullshit. The Earth is special because I've got a fundy belief about what it does. The moon is special because I've got a fundy belief about what it does.
No, it's obviously and observably special.
how is it special?
We have creatures like you, Nathan, living on the surface.
I didn't disagree. Yeah, very special, obviously and observably. I agree. And
well, that was my point.
That's astonishing.
Yeah, your claim is obviously and observably spherical, Dawn, and the arguments put to you demonstrate otherwise.
I must admit, John, you took me to another level of understanding here. Your argument's much stronger. I love it.
Yeah, it's good. The simplicity of it is what makes it so strong.
Yeah, the picture that's up right now, I could observe that happening here on tests and surfaces and have. And so it's like, yeah, that's even a double dagger.
Can I use that as a segue, or is there anything else anyone wants to say on this? Are you around, Sleeping Warrior? Oh. So, I think it was earlier today or yesterday, I forget when, Sleeping Warrior and I were discussing a different subject, and the conclusion, as has been the case many times, was, wow, this is actually really, really simple. And we both agreed, and it's like, well, why does it seem complicated? I think we were talking about Coriolis effect, actually. And it's because it's obfuscated and double-talked and, you know, misrepresented in references in regards to the Earth. But Coriolis itself is actually very simple, and the arguments that debunk their assertions are very simple. They're just convoluted and complicated by the other side to make something that's actually very simple when you unpack it and understand their doublespeak and rhetoric, and then ultimately understand the simplistic explanation for Coriolis effect, or in this case, specular and diffuse reflections. The argument does become very simple.
That's what he said.
Yeah, they're very simple
I have a
arguments.
question.
That's why they're so beautiful. Go ahead.
I have a question for Don. Hey, Don, do you have any friends that also believe the same way you do and that you would consider smarter than you? Simple question.
I'm trying to think if I've got real life.
Or are your friends
people.
smarter or dumber than you are?
I'm going to
in
say
your
I'm
opinion?
on a level with my friends on intelligence. I'm going to say.
Oh, okay, so you don't have any friends that you consider smarter?
Unless I count people on Discord.
People that you know.
Oh yeah, there's loads of people smarter. Obviously, yeah. I speak to every day.
That
on
you
Discord.
know? That are
Well,
friends of yours?
I know from Discord, yeah. Friends from Discord.
Then get them in here. Let John and Nathan paddle their bottoms.
Yeah, some of them don't care anymore.
Thank you.
They just think you're liars. They don't care about proving. So some of them just sit in the chat and paste stuff.
Well, what do you
Or
get
is
out
it
of
some
being
of them
here?
don't have arguments? Is that what it is?
I like.
What do you get out of being here?
I like the nuance between the belief system and the lies.
Your belief system and
your belief system.
And
your
who's
lies.
Oh.
Government's lies.
Well,
and then your belief system and
if
your
you
lies.
could just present some evidence, you could back that up.
And with that, I'll say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who have tuned in on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you want to keep yourself occupied after the stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum, which I strongly advise you all join. Also, of course, a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!